Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Guys, I appreciate you joining me here on a beautiful, I don't know how it is where you are, but here it is gorgeous. Spring Sunday afternoon. It is an absolutely wonderful day. I'm almost out of breath from dancing to the opening when you guys when you guys get here, so I apologize. We got a big show lined up for you. We had a lot of fun Thursday, and then I take Friday off at a family obligation. It was amazing, by the way. I had to go do a it's hard with kids growing up. I had to go do a college orientation tour. And it was a lot of fun, but it's hard, kids are fleeing the nest. So it's an emotional day. It was emotional. Number 2 out the door. Well, almost out the door, and 6 more to go. 6 more to go. We got a ton to do today. I mean, today is going to be dense. Today is one of those days. If you need reading glasses, you're going to do some screen caps. You might have to watch a couple of segments more than once. I hate to just tell you that up front. It's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. I have heard a lot of people. This is probably the number one comment I've gotten since Thursday. Is Candace at all worried that she is putting Mikey McCoy in jeopardy by naming him as a person who reached out to her? And my answer is an obvious no. It's a resounding no. If anything, she saved his life. There's something about hiding in public. And I think what she's done is she's allowed Mikey McCoy the opportunity to hide in public. Imagine if something now happened to Mikey McCoy. Well, before we said all that, before Candace came forward with that, before anyone had the opportunity to know that fact, if something had happened to Mikey McCoy, if the brakes failed in his car, if anything tragic happened, he got depressed and departed from this mortal realm, it would have been hard at that point to come in and say, "Oh, let me tell you what he said," and it looks weird or opportunistic at that point. But by saying it ahead of time, you get right out in front of it. I also congratulations to Valhalla VFT. He has now 500,000 plus subscribers, and I watched his 500,000 subscribers celebration show. A ton of fun Friday. I had a ton of fun with that. Also, Ian Carroll is back. He had a great podcast on the Ballroom. Time permitting today, we're going to do a little bit of the Ballroom. I intended to do a whole show on it tonight, but I switched gears. Going to take it a little different direction, in honor of Mikey McCoy, who said you should look into Andrew Kolvet a little more. Well, we will. We'll begin our descent into the disgusting, murky life of one Andrew Kolvet. Sheep dip. Well. I don't want to spoil the surprise. We'll get there. About the opening. I'm going to do the opening in the middle of the show, and I hope it makes sense when I get there. But if I started at the beginning, I don't think people understand why I did that opening and then do a whole segment on Andrew Kolvet and then get to the Ballroom. So today's show will be structured a little differently. I hope you'll permit that. It'll be great. But we've got a lot to cover. So buckle your safety harness. Sit down. You'll only need the edge of your seat today, but you will need your peepers. You will need this important 6 to 12 inches here, depending on how big your head is. How big is your head? 10, 12 inches maybe. You're going to need it because there's a lot we're going to talk about, and we're going to dive pretty deep on some of this stuff. So I hope you permit me that. It's Sunday. It's a little cap and gown. We've had a lot of fun the last couple of days. Had to wear a lawyering gear, had to play a country judge and lawyer. But today's going to be a little more serious. We're going to do a little cap and gown. We're going to begin a deep dive on a character that I'm kind of finding is pretty disgusting if you don't mind me saying so. So let's jump right in it. I have to set it up this way. Do you remember immediately after the Ballroom? I don't even want to call it a shooting. I don't know what it was. Some sort of assault on the Ballroom where a guy goes running. Many shots are fired, but in the end of the day, no one seems to have gotten shot. Maybe a Secret Service agent took a round to a vest. The suspect, even though it looks like they shot 5, 6, 8 shots at him, somehow Spidey-Man or Matrixed his way out of it and didn't get hit. And he ends up face down on the ground in some sort of looks like those blankets they put on you after you run a marathon or a 5K or something. You overheat, or a 10K or whatever. Those little like silvery blankets, and he's face down and there's no blood anywhere. He's not hit. He did not get injured in a shootout, an actual shootout. So you saw that, and then immediately you saw the right wing, or Con Inc., the mainstream right wing, mainstream MAGA. You saw them go into overdrive with one of the weirdest psyops I've ever seen in the history of social media. because nobody after that thought of a ballroom. Not a single person who watched what happened that night thought we need a ballroom except these people. Andrew Kolvet, Libs of TikTok, Jack Posobiec, End Wokeness, Wall Street Mav, Meghan McCain, on and on, Brylan Hollyhan, Randy Fine. They all thought simultaneously within 10 minutes of each other, wow, it'd be great if we had a ballroom at the White House. Nobody else on the planet was thinking about it. I guarantee you, when you saw that event take place, when you first heard the news of it, I was at dinner with my sister and my cousin. We had some kids at the table with us. We come out of dinner. I see the news of what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It never crossed my mind, and I stay pretty plugged in. It never crossed my mind, not for half a second. You know what? The White House needs a ballroom. This is getting ridiculous. Never crossed my mind. I guarantee you, how many people? We have almost 11,000 people on right now and climbing pretty quickly. None of you thought that either. Not a single one of you thought we need a ballroom. Not one of you made that connection. But all these people simultaneously did. All these MAGA influencers, all these pro-Iran war they all hold the exact same political position on nearly every single issue. They're pro-Erica Kirk, they're pro-Iran war, they're pro-greatest ally, and they all simultaneously thought we need a new ballroom. The White House needs a ballroom. It's weird. It's not natural. It is 100% a manufactured Psy-Op. So I spent the weekend thinking about this because it really bothered me. That compilation really bothered me. That is the kind of stuff that really gets me going. That's why I like being on this side of the political aisle, not the left, not the right, but this sort of anti-establishment part of the political aisle. That's where I find myself on almost every issue. What does the establishment do? I want to do the opposite. Oh, the establishment wants to go to war? That must be a bad idea. Oh, the establishment wants to raise taxes? That's probably a bad idea. Oh, the establishment wants to cut this tax? That's probably a bad idea. It doesn't matter what the establishment's doing. It's probably a bad idea. So I like where I find myself. These guys are all establishment. These guys all thought simultaneously we needed a ballroom. So it has really bothered me. I've spent the whole weekend now thinking about what does this mean? And then I had to start thinking about it in the context of Candace Owens saying, Mikey McCoy reached out to her through a third party and said, you need to take a closer look at Andrew Kolvet. And I thought, I think Andrew Kolvet was on that ballroom list. I think he was one of the tweets. And turns out he was. So I pulled up the tweet just to verify it for myself. I remembered seeing him on the long list of people who had tweeted that night, but I wanted to see precisely what time was that tweet. What time was that tweet? Was he early to the party or was he late? Oh, he was early. Check this out. This was the night of the big kerfuffle there in Washington, D.C. This is 9:30 p.m. my time. That's 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. He did not get out of the ballroom until 10 o'clock. Within 30 minutes of getting out of the ballroom, within 30 minutes of learning what had happened, he's already on social media pimping this ballroom. So in light of that, I think, okay, we've got a problem on our hands here. We have got to get to the bottom of this. And that's when Candace dropped the big story. That's when she dropped the big story. If you missed it, I'll play a brief clip of it here. If you didn't miss it, it's worth seeing again because it's awesome. It is awesome. Here is how that sounded on her show late last week. And yes, I'm moving kind of quickly. That's what I'm saying. You may need screen grabs or go watch parts of this. I have so much information to share tonight. If I go too slowly, we'll never get to it.
It doesn't fly with me. Like I said, release the entire chat. You have my full permission, and it must be met with the sentencing. You guys agree? You agree? I must sentence him to more truth. Make an announcement. I must sentence Andrew and Erica to more truth. That is always the sentencing in this court. Now, what would be appropriate? What would be the appropriate level of truth to sentence you to? I got it. Okay. Now, since what you are attempting to falsely insinuate is that I went into that conversation with Erica on December 15th already convinced of her guilt, which is patently untrue. I am now going to prove to audiences just how untrue that insinuation is, okay? With the private revelation that I made to Erica Kirk, information that I gave her that I would not have given to her had I immediately suspected her of her guilt. I would have given her no information regarding this. And it was a private revelation made about you, Andrew Kolvet. I don't know if they told you this. This is really bad way to find out. But since you tried to surprise me yesterday, bam, surprise, surprise, shouty, as they say. You see, Angie, what I told Erica Kirk was that part of the reason why I suspected Turning Point USA and why I thought she should be looking into other people is because someone at Turning Point USA got a message out to me. And that message was that I need to look further into Andrew Kolvet. Wow, Turning Point USA people telling me to look further into Andrew Kolvet. Was it Aubrey, as he tries to insinuate? No. It was Mikey McCoy. Mikey McCoy got a message out to me via a third-party person that I should look more into Andrew Kolvet. Why would he do that, Andrew? Why would Mikey McCoy say that I should look more into? When I did look into, things got very shady. And that's when I started going, who the hell is Andrew Kolvet, actually? He's obviously not a very good PR agent. Everybody can see that. He's a bit of a blubbering idiot. Who is Andrew Kolvet? What are his ties? What are his family ties here? And the more I looked, I did start to see more things. So as you pretend like we're all just conspiracy theorists and nobody had any good information, as you fire a bunch of employees, like I said, you still cannot produce the information that you are claiming that Aubrey Leitch gave to me that I share on this platform.
All right. We've got enough. Now we know what Mikey McCoy said. We know why she shared it. And I want to put a limit on it because I'm seeing a lot of people trying to overstate what she said in order to attack her. A lot of the Candace detractors have spent all weekend saying, oh, Candace is claiming that her source the entire time has been Mikey McCoy. Has been Mikey McCoy. Well, no, friends. That's not what she said. She said Mikey McCoy reached out a single time through an intermediary and said, look into Andrew Kolvet. That is not the same as Candace said her source the entire time has been Mikey McCoy. Those are different verbs. Those are patently different concepts. So what do we do with this? How do we approach this? How do we live with the fact that we now have a piece of information? Oh, and I dare you, TPUSA, to say this conversation didn't take place. I dare you. I dare you to say Candace never said that. I dare you. Just like everything else you guys refuse to denounce. You guys may send a text message to some 2-bit podcaster who nobody listens to, who has small audiences, and you may send it to some third-rate home improvement blogger to try to get your story. I understand your tactics. They're not new to me. I get it. They're low budget. They're terrible. You're a bad PR agency, TPUSA. You get bad PR strategy and tactical advice. You guys don't do this well. You're way out of your league. You need Charlie back, but unfortunately, he's not available. I dare you guys. You guys will never come out and denounce the things that are not true because you're scared to death of what's going to come out if you do. I get that. I 100% understand why you won't do it, Andrew. I understand why you guys won't do it. But I dare you to come out and say, Candace never said that. That's nonsense. No. She did. She told Erica that. Guaranteed. And that's why you won't come out and deny it. That's why you won't come out and deny it. Nevertheless, what do we do with that information? So Mikey says, look into Andrew Kolvet. Well, let's start that process. Let's look into who is this guy? How did he end up in Charlie's life? Well, here is his LinkedIn profile. The founder and CEO of ATK Company. I'm guessing T is his middle name, ATK. So I got a little bit here of his education, University of Washington. He was a account producer account executive at Go West Creative Group for a few years. Not sure what they did. Don't care. Development producer for just a few months in 2012 at Signet Media Group. And then there's a blank. You'll notice here there's a blank. Maybe I could try to make this larger for you so you guys can see the blank. Because I talked to somebody who sat through something with Andrew during this blank, believe it or not. I'll tell you more about it in a minute. But in October 12, according to LinkedIn, he's no longer working with Signet. And he doesn't go to work for Light Workers Media. That's a weird company. Mark Burnett company. Until May of 2014. So there's this like 19 or 20 month gap in his resume. A lot of people that there's a gap like that when you go to prison. I'm not suggesting Andrew went to prison, but I am suggesting that this gap is pretty telling to me, frankly, pretty telling to me about where he may have been during this gap, because he's in kind of small budget, screenwriting mode. He's doing this kind of stuff. Then he leaves and he shows up with Mark Burnett. We're going to talk about Mark Burnett today. More than meets the eye when it comes to Mark Burnett. And he goes from Mark Burnett, he's only there a little over a year. Then he's at the Kairos company for 4 years. He's there with Johnny Moore. We'll hint at Johnny Moore. We'll dig into him more later. And then while he's at Kairos with Johnny Moore, he actually opens ATK Media, and he's been there ever since. Notice TPUSA is not on this list. If I did the job I do, if I did Andrew's job for TPUSA, I wouldn't put it on this list either. There's nobody who could look at what's happened, in particular in the last 7 months, and say, boy, that's great PR. Who's the genius running that? Yeah, I'd probably hide from that too if I was Andrew Kolvet. But nevertheless, we have this gap. And when he shows back up after this gap, he goes to work for Mark Burnett at Mark Burnett Company. So let's just, I'm not even going to do away with this. I'm going to stop sharing it, but I'm going to keep it up because we're going to come back to this in a minute. While he's working for Kairos Company, he's listed as a media contact on a campaign. This is Waging Peace on the Internet. The Jerusalem Prayer Team has 20 million Facebook fans. October 5, 2017. That's it right here. October 5, 2017. And if you scroll all the way down, it says contact information, Andrew Kolvet. Well, that's interesting. What is the Jerusalem Prayer Team? Well, we figure out it is a worldwide social media initiative created by the Friends of Zion in Jerusalem. So all the way back in 2017, we've got Andrew Kolvet. Now, this is 9 years ago, 8.5 years before Charlie dies. He is the face, he is the contact, the media contact of a Jerusalem-based Friends of Zion Heritage Center, the Jerusalem Prayer Team. Well, I'm just not satisfied with that little bit of information. I just can't find any more about it. I've got to keep digging. I don't know what to do with this. So we dig. That's what we do on this show. And we consult people who've already done this digging. Travis on X, he goes by Nilo X or Nilo X. I've got a lot of this information going from him. He starts the seed. I start pulling on the thread and we start developing a hell of a story. But I got to show you first. So he's listed as the contact for this Friends of Zion. Well, what's his connection to the TPUSA hiring? Because I want to look at both of those, and then I want to look back at what is the Friends of Zion, because it might be more than meets the eye. But let's go back. If you guys remember, I don't want to play the video because I want to focus more on the actual language he used. This was from Andrew Kolvet's New York Times interview of how he came to work at TPUSA. This is the Andrew Kolvet interview that he did with Ross Douthat of the New York Times. He asked him, Douthat, you were working at Turning Point before then. And Kolvet says, yeah, I'll go back a step. I was actually living and working in Hollywood. I had a job working with Mark Burnett of The Voice, Celebrity Apprentice, Survivor, and Shark Tank. He was doing those projects. Then at some point, he got into faith-based content. Well, doesn't that sound a lot like what happened after Andrew Kolvet showed up at TPUSA? I mean, Survivor, Celebrity Apprentice, Shark Tank, The Voice. That's surprisingly non-Christian, non-faith-based. These are just sheer entertainment shows. This is goy slop. So he's working there. At some point, he got into faith-based content. This seems to be a known technique these establishment types are using. Well, we can't get them with the goy slop, so let's hit them with Christianity. Let's see if that works. I was thrown into the deep end. One day we would be at Jimmy Kimmel. His name's been in the news a lot recently. Or we'd be at the nightly shows, then we'd go to CNN, and we'd go to Fox, and we'd be at a church. Oh, that's convenient. That's amazing. Well, we'll dig in. So Mark's chief of staff, there's Mark Burnett, his chief of staff, a guy named Johnny Moore, started a PR company. He asked me to start it with him. I wanted to write screenplays, actually, you and everyone else. Doing the LA thing, my head was very much in that space. I wanted to make content. So I kind of refused. And then he said, why don't you just work a couple days a week? Help me get this thing off the ground. You can do your own thing. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Johnny Moore really just pursued Andrew for no reason? Like, do you think Johnny Moore just looked at Andrew and thought, boy, there's no one else in America that can do this man's job. I just got to keep calling him over and over. Because if Andrew Kolvet won't do this, I might not be successful. Johnny Moore's a pro. He's been in these businesses a long time. Andrew was a screenwriter. Why in the world is Johnny Moore so insistent that Andrew Kolvet, of all people, come join him at his new company? Obviously, we know that Andrew Kolvet has zero talent when it comes to PR. None. All you have to do is watch the last 7.5, almost 8 months of TPUSA debacling, and you'll understand exactly what I mean. Zero talent at PR. So why is Johnny Moore just following after him? Why does he keep calling him? Why does he keep saying, well, maybe just work with me for a couple of days a week? Couple of options. One is he's lying. That didn't happen at all. Or two, there's something about Andrew Kolvet and his work history that Johnny Moore finds desirable. I tend to lean towards number two. So let's go back to it. Let's see if we can figure out what it is. Along the way, we started bringing on conservative clients. PragerU was one of those clients. We ended up bringing on Blaze as a client. Well, what do you know about PragerU and Blaze? These are two companies that are totally obsessed and controlled by our greatest ally and their supporters. That's it. That's all the Blaze and PragerU are. It's greatest ally slop, top to bottom, left to right, all day long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's all they care about. It's interesting that the only two clients he could name that Johnny Moore had in his employ were PragerU and Blaze. And this guy who can only get PragerU and Blaze as named clients you might have actually heard of is just obsessed with getting Andrew Kolvet. Again, why? Why? What is it about Andrew that fits the profile of the kind of person Johnny Moore is dying to hire? And at some point, Charlie came across the path of Johnny. It's in Southern Florida at some event. He said, hey, you should look into this guy. He's young. I think he's got a lot of energy. You should contact him. Here's his email. Oh, interesting. We're in the same paragraph here. PragerU, The Blaze, Charlie. One of these, at this point in time, one of these is not like the other. Charlie was decidedly different. He did not have a total, whole, global mission of supporting the greatest ally at any and all times. Not yet. He would develop that, but not at this time. Not in 2017. So you're starting to get an idea of what's going on here. Why it is Johnny Moore who has these clients. Why it is he's wanting to bring on Andrew. Why it is they're wanting to get in touch with Charlie. Charlie's picking up a little bit of influence. This is post-2016 election. A lot of people are crediting Charlie for whatever reason for almost singularly getting Donald Trump elected. And here, all of a sudden, we have somebody dying to get their grimy little paws inside of TPUSA. And this is Andrew speaking. So I reached out to him, meaning Charlie. Said, hey, we'd love to talk, maybe work with you. He basically ghosted for a while. In other words, don't need you. What do I need you for? Why am I going to pay you money? I got everything I need right here in-house. We're doing fine. We don't need the likes of you. And eventually he had some news story that he tried to handle on his own, didn't go so well, kind of blew up, and then he called me. You remember what that news story was? We covered it last time I showed this video. That news story, I'm almost convinced, I'm almost 100% positive, was the story about the girl that left TPUSA because she had said the N-word in some text messages, and she'd said she'd hated black people. I don't, honestly, frankly, I mean, I know freedom of speech and all that, but your job is not freedom of speech. I don't blame somebody who reads those text messages on a company phone and says, I don't know that you should work here. Like, if for no other reason, it's just a total lapse in judgment that you would say that on company time. But it's also probably a good sign that, maybe their values are incompatible. Maybe what she was saying isn't consistent with what Charlie wanted from his organization. So I get it. I totally get it. But it was interesting to me. We talked about it last time. I don't want to do a whole nother show on it. How that came to be. It came to be because another employee had left. My guess is that other employee turned in his phone. Somebody looks through the phone. They see those text messages because it was between employees. And then that's how she ends up getting fired. Her name was Crystal something. Can't remember her last name. Crystal something. So he says, I got to work with him via the agency for about a year. And then he basically said, hey, I like you. I'll hire you. I'll be your first client. I also want to start a podcast. Help me do that. So that's how Andrew Kolvet, according to Andrew, now Charlie's not around to hear his side of the story, but that's how he ended up working there. Andrew's working for Johnny. He had been working for Mark Burnett. So was Johnny. Johnny leaves and starts his own firm. Andrew leaves and goes with him. Johnny, the only two named clients he mentions are total sellouts to our greatest ally. All of a sudden, Johnny, who is working for these two greatest ally sellouts, looks and says, you need to talk to Charlie. We need to get in touch with that guy. We need to be on his team. He needs to be part of our group. Well, he calls him. He can't get in. Charlie won't call him back. And then all of a sudden, this manufactured crisis arises. And Charlie's in deep, and the media's coming after him, and the people are manipulating the media, and they're just all over Turning Point. And all of a sudden, Andrew starts working with Turning Point, and the problem goes away. Must be nice. It's almost like it was designed to happen that way. Almost. Allegedly, in my opinion. So that's what we know about how Andrew Kolvet came to work with Johnny Moore, how Johnny Moore and Andrew Kolvet came to work with Charlie Kirk and TPUSA, and how Andrew ended up working solely with TPUSA after Andrew leaves Keros. He's leaves and goes out on his own. But let's go back to the Friends of Zion. Who is the Friends of Zion? Wouldn't you know, I have their tax filing for that year. And it gives us an idea of who they are. Friends of Zion. They're based in Las Vegas. A weird place for Friends of Zion to be based. Wonder what's going on there. The name of the foundation is actually Friends of the Adelson Drug Clinic, Inc. Oh, that's really weird. Friends of the Adelson Drug Clinic, Inc. Doing business as Friends of Zion. What in the world? Well, I'll spoil the surprise. When you look up Adelson Drug Clinic, this was a methadone clinic. This was a clinic to help get people off of opioids. For some reason, it was run by one of the richest people in America, Miriam Adelson. It was run by somebody with billions and billions and billions of dollars who, among other things, decides the opioid business is just something they have to get involved with. And it's in a kind of a seedy part of Las Vegas. If you look up the address, you can still see the building. The building is very run down. It's got a very basic sign that says Adelson Drug Clinic or something like that. And it's one of the strangest things I can't draw a connection. I cannot figure out, other than nefarious reasons, I can't figure out a good reason why they would want this building, why they would want this job. Now, nefarious reasons I could come up with were maybe she or her husband or some of their friends or whatever were drug addicts and they just wanted access to opioids. Methadone is an opioid, so you could take it. You could always have access to it. You could, we're prescribing it for our patients and, you take a little extra. That's one option. Doesn't strike me as the right option, but it could be an option. Another option is you want to traffic in drugs. And so you want to meet a bunch of seedy people who have access to a bunch of drugs. They're drug addicts. So you bring them in and you give them counseling. You figure out who their connections are. You maybe turn them and they start helping. That's option B, get involved in the drug trade. But that seems awfully risky for a casino mogul. You wouldn't necessarily want your wife doing that. So that seems a little weird. So access to drugs is option one. Trafficking drugs, maybe option two. The third option is maybe we want to experiment on these people. Maybe we want to figure out if we can kind of drug people up and get them to do things for us. Like we have some dirty business we want done. We're casino moguls. I mean, it's not the cleanest industry you've ever been. The answer is I don't know. The answer is I don't know. But I thought this was very weird that Friends of Zion is actually named Friends of the Adelson Drug Clinic, Inc. And if you go down and look at the board members of Friends of Zion, the board members are Sheldon Adelson and Miriam Adelson. Those are the two of the four directors. Sheldon Adelson and Miriam Adelson. Those are your directors. So you have a drug clinic charity masquerading as the Jerusalem prayer team that's going out there and getting 20 million emails, 20 million social media profiles. Like something's going on here, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's a very, very strange scenario. Very strange scenario, if I do say so myself. But that is who, I believe, in my opinion, allegedly, that's who Andrew was working for. That was his client. That's the campaign he was running. He was running a social media campaign, what it looks like to me anyway. I can't state this as fact. I'm just going by what I see in the filings. But he's running a social media campaign that is aiming to capture followers for a Jerusalem prayer team. It doesn't look like they do anything. They're just sending out social media posts from what I can tell. And the directors of this are a casino mogul and his wife, who happen to be committed to our greatest ally. But that's it. But it's just like, who are these people? What are they doing? What is this operation? And what was Andrew doing for them? But regardless of any of the answer to any of those questions, we have now connected Andrew to the Adelsons. Andrew Kolvet in 2017 was working for Miriam Adelson, at least on paper. I can't state it as fact, but I can say at least on paper, it sure looks like that. I mean, it looks like that to me. So let's go to the connection between Andrew Kolvet and Charlie here. This is Candace, once again, taking us through a curious incident, a very curious incident that took place with Donald Trump.
I do want to comment and share something that I hadn't shared before. And I don't know if it means something, but it's something that has always lived inside of me, which was something that Charlie Kirk told me before he passed and something that Andrew Kolvet confirmed to me. This is, again, when everybody was good. And obviously things are not the same between me and Andrew Kolvet because I don't believe him. I just don't believe him. But before it was announced that Miriam Adelson gave Trump $100 million, this was, I think it was announced in July or just before July of 2024. And I was told by Charlie that he and Andrew Kolvet were present for that meeting with Donald Trump. And the reason that Charlie told me the story, and again, I could go back and try to figure out when exactly the discussion happened. I want to say it was May. So I knew that money went through, and I knew what she wanted in exchange for $100 million. What Charlie and Andrew Kolvet told me was that she said that she wanted in exchange for Trump to allow them to annex not Gaza, but the West Bank. I was stunned by this. I think it has since made the news. But of course, this is like a totally different pretense than October 7th. Hamas is not in the West Bank, and that is what she wanted in exchange. After she said this to Trump, Trump went, he was wherever Charlie was, Trump was adjusting his tie and looking in the mirror, and he said, I'm going to take her money and then I'll F her over. Okay. I am hearing this from Charlie, who was there first person, and Andrew, who confirmed this. Andrew was also there. That nobody else was there but Andrew and Charlie when Trump said this. A few weeks later, there was the Butler attempted assassination. And I find it very strange that Donald Trump is not interested or has appeared to be completely disinterested in determining who fired that shot.
I'm a little intrigued by that as well. But for this purpose, I'm more intrigued by that story. Because when I heard her tell that story, I was unaware of the purported, admittedly, I can't sit here and state beyond a reasonable doubt or a statement of fact that Andrew actually did work for the Adelsons, but on paper, it sure looks like it. Like that's the only Friends of Zion I could find that had the Jerusalem prayer team, that had the same director. Like it looks like it's the same people. And so if Trump says this, and Andrew had that connection, I doubt Charlie's the one that sold Trump out. I mean, just assuming somebody allowed this to leak back to Miriam Adelson, because it does seem curious that just a few weeks later, there was an attack on Donald Trump. It seems like it. Seems to be the connection. And I was stunned by it. Again, Travis at Nilo X on X, I was the first one to put the 990 together that showed Miriam and Sheldon Adelson as the directors of the Friends of Zion. I kind of did my little research and checked it out. It looks like it's the same people that he was working for. Again, outside chance it's not, but I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. And then you have Donald Trump not knowing of this connection with Andrew, saying, yeah, we took $100 million from this woman. She wants to annex the West Bank. We're not going to let her, but I'm going to take her money. And then 6 weeks later, he gets shot at. Could be unconnected. Could be a total coincidence. But it does seem that Donald Trump is different not since Butler, but since that conversation. Seems like Donald Trump's a different person. We've run around asking ourselves, why is he so different? And I will say this, if Andrew was connected to Miriam Adelson, if I'm right that was the right company and that is who he was representing, that's not the kind of connection you give up. I've been around these nonprofits. I've been around working with rich people and done work for very wealthy people. You don't just walk away and never talk to them. Like that's a connection you don't sour, particularly when they have that kind of money. We're not talking about somebody with $50 million. We're not talking about someone with $500 million. We're talking about someone with basically unlimited money. Billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. That's not something you give up. And if you think you can curry favor with them, you do. You do. Imagine the favor Andrew Kolvet would have curried. Just thinking outside the box here, just thought experiment. I'm not saying this happened, but imagine the favor that Andrew Kolvet would curry with the Adelson family if he would have gone to them with the story. It would be incalculable. And if he convinced Charlie also to go with that story, the downstream revenue effects could be basically unlimited. For TPUSA, for Andrew, for Charlie, there could be business opportunities, side deals. There could be, these people have so much money that you can't even describe it. Like, imagine you had $50,000 and somebody needed $10. You'd be like, yeah, here's $10, whatever. That's what kind of money we're talking about. When we're talking about somebody potentially giving TPUSA $10 million or $100 million or more, that's like $10, $20 to these people, maybe $100. Like if you have $50,000 and you could have tremendous impact on American foreign policy, American economic policy for $100, you'd give $100 in a second. That's the kind of money we're talking about. And so I look at this, I want you to keep in mind what we looked at with Andrew's LinkedIn profile. I'll go back to it just so we can all keep it in mind, because I'm about to go into something pretty deep here, and I want you to understand why I'm doing it. We go back to his profile here. There's this gap from October 12 to May 14. There's a 10-month or a 20 month or so gap where he's nowhere to be found on LinkedIn. And then when he shows back up, he's working for Mark Burnett. He only works there a little over a year, He works there with Johnny Moore, and then he and Johnny Moore end up working at Johnny Moore's new company, the Kairos Company. And it's the Kairos Company where he's working with the Blaze, PragerU, and apparently Miriam Adelson. Keep that combo in mind as I go through this next little story here. Because there's been a really interesting, fascinating cultural phenomenon that's taken place since Charlie Kirk passed away, in that there is an all-out war on Jimmy Kimmel. Twice now, we've seen them try to take Jimmy Kimmel's career away from him, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of people who try to take someone's career away because of something they've said. Not something he did, something he said. Now, Jimmy Kimmel falsely attributed in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, he falsely attributed that to Donald Trump supporters, some right-wing MAGA person. Should you lose your career over a mistake in reporting? No, clearly not. He's a comedian. He was doing a late night bit to an audience of maybe 1 million people, 2 million tops. I mean, how many people watch these late night shows? And it didn't land. But he goes out there, Dave Chappelle, Theo Vaughn, they will go out and work smaller rooms of 200 to 500, maybe a couple thousand people. They will work these rooms for months, sometimes years, to perfect a 60-minute comedy special. And then they'll go on HBO, or they'll go on Showtime, or they'll go on pay-per-view, or they'll go on Netflix, and they'll do their 60-minute bit. Jimmy Kimmel has to come up with a show every night, 5 nights a week. All those jokes aren't going to land. I've been to some of these shows. I went to a Theo Vaughn show that I was fairly confident he was working out new material, because the first half just slayed. I mean, he just crushed it. And it was hilarious. And I could not stop laughing. I had like a stitch in my side. I was laughing so hard. My wife and I, at one point, were looking at each other. Neither one of us, you could see our eyes. They just we're so swollen from laughing so much. And then he gets to the point where you see he's struggling to work through new material, and he's trying multiple punchlines, and he's telling stories, trying to see what lands and doesn't land, reading the room. You can see him looking at notes. He's coming up with a new show. You can see it in real time. It was a master at the top of his craft in his prime. You're watching him work. This is how the greatest comedian, or one of the top 5 comedians of his generation, comes up with new material. I'm watching it in real time. It was a special moment. It was at the Ryman Auditorium a year or 2 ago. It was a beautiful moment. So why would you go so hard after Jimmy Kimmel just because he made a bad joke? And then he did it again this week. So they went after him. He was taken from TV for a little while, and he was pushed to the side, and then he got back on air, and he's been a good boy for the last 6 months. And then a week or 2 ago, he made another joke about Melania. He said Melania was glowing like an expectant widow, not an expectant mother. They have a glow, but an expectant widow. And obviously a bad joke. But you should never joke about the death of a president. I don't find it funny, whether I like the president or not. I do not want them harmed. No violence, no attempts, no nothing. It's just, it's base. It's coarse. It shouldn't happen. Not in a free society. We should not have leaders who are in jeopardy for their lives. So it was a bad joke, but you take his career over it. Well, let me go back to something, because I think I've maybe identified the source of Jimmy Kimmel hate. Believe it or not. I think I figured it out. I've been marinating on this for months now. And it wasn't until this recent go round and my deep dive into Andrew Kolvet that I think I spotted the problem. And I don't even know if Jimmy Kimmel knows what the problem is. But it makes sense to me that this 1:13 clip I'm about to play you might be why his career is in jeopardy. This goes all the way back. What year was this? Hold on. This was 9 years ago, 2016, during the Donald Trump campaign the first time. During the first Donald Trump campaign, Jimmy Kimmel is speaking at an awards show, and he makes the following joke.
But television can also tear us apart. I mean, if it wasn't for television, would Donald Trump be running for president? No. He would be at home right now, quietly rubbing up against his wife, Malaria, while she pretends to be asleep. Many have asked, who is to blame for Donald Trump, the Donald Trump phenomenon? And I'll say this.
he was right. A lot of people in the 2016 election, some of you may not have followed politics very closely back then, or some of you may not have followed Donald Trump very closely back then. This was after Donald Trump was the known Republican nominee. This was 2 months before the election with Hillary Clinton. And a lot of really wealthy entertainment types were trying to figure out, how did Donald Trump survive and do the impossible? How was he able to pull off a win against the billions and billions and billions of dollars in free advertising against him, free attacks against him? Every media outlet, 70, 80, 90, 95% of their coverage against Donald Trump was negative. Every athlete, every entertainer, every academician, every single professor, every school, all of polite society despised the man. He won the nomination anyway. And a lot of people were asking this question. Jimmy Kimmel's going to answer this question, and I think it put a target on his back that persists to this day.
I'll tell you who, because he's sitting right there. That's right. That guy.
That guy is Mark Burnett, Andrew Kolvet's boss, right before this was taken. This is the guy who launched Andrew Kolvet's career.
Mark Burnett, the man who brought us Celebrity Apprentice. Thanks to Mark Burnett, we don't have to watch reality shows anymore because we're living in one. Thank you, Mark.
That's a forced smile. That's a forced smile. I want to go back to Jimmy Kimmel's face when he tells the joke. I want you to see that. Does he look like he's kidding? Does Jimmy Kimmel look like he's joking?
Right there.
That's the man right there. Does Jimmy Kimmel look like he's remotely joking? Jimmy Kimmel is serious right now, serious as a heart attack. You want to know where Donald Trump came from? It's that SOB right there. Mark Burnett humanized the new Hitler. He's the one who did this. Donald Trump's career was on the ropes. He had bankruptcies. He had business failures. He had scandals. He had personal flaws. He had, 5 children by 3 wives. That was the guy who would never be president, ever be president. And you son of a biscuit eater, you, Mark Burnett, made him look lovable. You put him on TV for 9 or 10 straight seasons. You guys made hundreds of millions of dollars together. Everybody loved him. No, I'm not bashing Trump right now. What I'm doing is pointing out why Jimmy Kimmel was furious. Jimmy Kimmel was not the only one furious at this moment. But Jimmy Kimmel was the only one who correctly identified how Trump was able to survive. How he was able to survive. Because prior to 2016, 100% of the time, the media could destroy anyone they wanted to. If the media decided look what they did to Ron Paul. Look what they did to Ross Perot. Look what they did to George Wallace. Look what they did to David Duke. Anybody they did not like. And some of these people were unlikable. Some of these people had personal flaws. Donald Trump had personal flaws. And what they would do is they would seize on those personal flaws, whether it was a political belief, whether it was something in their personal life, whatever it was, the media could get together, they could collaborate, and they could make sure that person had no real power. They would not be able to survive the media onslaught. That look on Jimmy Kimmel's face right there is a genuine, sincere disgust for Mark Burnett. And what he did was, in this moment, he told the whole world, that's the guy responsible for Donald Trump. I'm sure Mark Burnett felt that for years. I'm sure he's been stewing on this moment for years. We often talk about how Donald Trump wouldn't have decided to run for president, but for the fact that the last White House Correspondents' Dinner he went to in 2011, before this one this year, the last one he went to was 15 years ago. And Barack Obama made fun of him in front of everybody. And you could see Donald Trump stewing. These people, when they get to this level, their reputation is worth more than money. They have more money than they could spend in 10 lifetimes. Mark Burnett could not go broke if he had to. Mark Burnett could not spend all of his money. If he set out today to try to spend all of his money, he could not spend all of his money. So money is no longer an incentive. It's the adoration of the people. It's all these people in the room. This is an awards show for Hollywood. This is where Hollywood gets together and pat each other on the back. and tells everybody how great they all are. And Jimmy Kimmel roasted him right in front of everybody. And Mark Burnett has this goofy laugh on his face, which is, I'll kill you, MFer. I will take you out one day. Look at all these people laughing at Mark Burnett's expense. And look how awkwardly he is, how lonely he looks in this moment.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for coming all the way from England to tear us all apart with your intricate plot. It worked. You sneaky little crumpet muncher, you.
You know what it must feel like to be Mark Burnett and have an entire auditorium of the richest and most powerful people in Hollywood laughing at your expense? But he made a comment in there that I thought, I need to follow up on that. What is this came all the way from England business to ruin our lives? Who is Mark Burnett? Who is this guy? Well, let me tell you a little bit about Mark Burnett. I'm not going to pull up a bunch of facts here. I'm just going to run through them. Mark Burnett was born in England, 1968, I think, somewhere in there in the 60s. He was born in England. And I may have their year all wrong. But he's born into a relatively modest family. Born into a relatively modest family. At the age of 17, he leaves school. He had graduated from, I don't know what they call it in England, basically American version of high school. Leaves high school, graduates. He tries what we call college. I don't know, university or whatever they call it, post-secondary, whatever. But he tries college, doesn't like it, so he enrolls in the military. And he ends up in the very prestigious English military unit, United Kingdom military unit called the 3rd Battalion Parachute Regiment. These are like, kind of like our special guys. Not special that way. Not handicap special, but I mean like they're elite. He ends up in the 3rd Battalion Parachute Regiment where he excels and he becomes a section commander. While he's there at 5 years. He does tours in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. And he does a tour in the Falkland Islands where he has a very special role during the war with Argentina. You know, United Kingdom and Argentina went to war in 1982. And while they were at war, there were a lot of prisoners, and those prisoners had to be negotiated and exchanged and everything else. And he was tasked with handling that responsibility. He was a very trusted, very smart tactician. So you think a guy like that has the world at his fingertips. Why is he leaving the military? You know, he seems like he's going to excel in this military game. He's already risen very quickly, but he doesn't. After 5 years, he leaves. And after he leaves the British Army, he wants to move to Central America. He wants to work in weapons and special tactics advisement. What's going on in Central America at the time? The drug trade. The drug trade. The Iran-Contra affair that took place there. So you have the Contras and the Sandinistas. They're already arguing by this time. They're already arguing for supremacy. You already have Manuel Noriega setting up shop in Panama. So anyone going in the early 1980s to Central America to work in weapons and tactics is involved in this life. This is what they're doing. This is the life they want to live. But on his way to Central America, he stops over in Los Angeles. And when he stops in Los Angeles, he decides, I don't want to go excel as a tactician, a strategic advisor, or a weapons guy. No, instead, I'm going to stay in Los Angeles. So you think, well, great, Los Angeles. Wonder what he did. I bet it was an amazing job. Well, he became a nanny. That's what he did. There's nothing wrong with nannies. But it's an unusual career path for a guy who was the section commander of the 3rd Battalion Parachute Regiment who served 5 years at an elite unit in the British military with deployments during the Troubles and the Falkland War, who was negotiating prisoner exchanges at a very high level. That's a very strange career move for somebody who leaves that level of military service and is instead intending to go work in Central America where the drug trade is active and we have communists fighting the free world and we have the battles going on in Nicaragua and we have what's going on in Panama. It's a very strange career change to give that entire life up to go be a nanny in Beverly Hills. But that's what Mark Burnett did. This is the same Mark Burnett they were just laughing at. Then he became a housekeeper in Malibu. A nanny in Beverly Hills and then a housekeeper in Malibu. This is an elite special operator. This is a guy who was going to make a career out of advising guerrilla groups, Western governments on how to fight communists in the Western Hemisphere, how to get weapons in and out of the area. And he's a nanny and a housekeeper. Mark Burnett, Celebrity Apprentice. Then he leaves the nannying and housekeeping business, and you think, oh, okay, now he's going to go be a special operator. Now he's going to go into Central America. Now, no, not at all. He moves to Venice Beach, where he opens a T-shirt sales booth on Venice Beach. He sells T-shirts. He gets a bunch of T-shirts printed up and sells them on Venice Beach. That's his career trajectory. Special operator, planning to work in a very high level at a very strange time in Central America. But first, let me go be a housekeeper. Then let me be a nanny. Now let me go sell T-shirts. That is not the career path of most people who end up sitting in front of Jimmy Kimmel being roasted in front of the richest and most powerful people. This is not the career path of a guy who ends up being a business partner with Donald Trump just a few years later. We're talking the 90s this was happening. In 1992, he launched, again, strange career trajectory. He launches something called the Echo Race. This is where people compete for money racing around the world. Or racing. And he does that for 3 years just behind the scenes, and I have no idea why. But they finally pick it up for television in 1995, and now he's moved his way into Hollywood. Now he's starting to learn the Hollywood business. One wonders why he went from military to strategic advising and weapons to housekeeping to nannying to selling T-shirts to running a racing league to working in Hollywood. It's a very strange arc. But in 1995, they pick up this Echo Race. And for 5 years, he has a televised race. Until 2000, when he launches what may be the most successful reality television franchise in history, Survivor. That's Mark Burnett. In 2000, he launches Survivor. It has gone on for 45 consecutive seasons. It's an interesting game in that they go through very strange global locations, isolated places in the middle of nowhere, off the coast, typically on an island. It's a master class in studying group dynamics in real time, manipulation, stress. You're surveilling people for 24 hours at a time. You're telling stories. You're manipulating the environment through games that one group will do better at than the other. Oh, this is the game we're going to play today, to kind of shift the thing and see how everybody responds. It's like an intelligence operation. But it's profitable, and you guys love watching it. A lot of you do. And he did that for 4 years. He's done it for 25 years, but at this point, he'd done it for 4 years when he launches The Apprentice in 2004. And that is the rehab of the Donald Trump brand. When I was a kid in the 1980s, Donald Trump was synonymous with success. He was in his 30s. He was young, maybe early 40s. But Donald Trump, if Donald Trump got involved, it was successful. It was big buildings. It was gold signs. It was his name on absolutely everything. But by the time 2004 had run around, Donald Trump had been through the ringer. He was in not ideal shape. And in 2004, they launched The Apprentice, and at first it was poorly received because it was Donald Trump, and he kind of was having some rehab image issues. But within a year or two, people loved the show. And I'll admit, I watched it. It was a great show. It was very entertaining. And Trump was magnetic on camera. He was somebody you just wanted to tune in the next week to see who he fired. And you felt like you were learning something about business, about life, about relationships. I mean, it was a really cool program. It was a really cool show. And through Apprentice and later Celebrity Apprentice, Donald Trump and Mark Burnett became close. They had a close personal relationship, a close business relationship. They made hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe more, off of this 50-50 partnership they had in The Apprentice. At one point, Mark Burnett's son was the ring bearer in Donald Trump's wedding to Melania. Now, flash forward to 2016, where Jimmy Kimmel's on stage roasting Mark Burnett. And before he roasted Mark Burnett, he roasted Donald Trump's wife by calling her malaria. But it really helps shape the perception of Donald Trump. Along the way, Mark Burnett, this very strange career arc, who's now worth hundreds of millions of dollars, marries a woman named Roma Downey. Roma Downey was an actress. She was an actress. She was an actress in a show called Touched by an Angel. So this was a Christian-themed show. Then after that, she started being a producer of Christian television. She and Mark Burnett together produced something called The Bible for television. And then what they would do is they tell Old Testament stories, New Testament stories, and they would tell this story about Bible characters. And it just jumped off the page. It came to life. It was beautiful. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It was wonderful. It truly was a good, well-produced, great idea. And it was very commercially successful. They had other Christian shows, but none as successful as The Bible. She acted in nothing as successful as Touched by an Angel, but they had this marriage. They had this relationship. And this is the life Mark Burnett is leading when he gets on the crowd and Jimmy Kimmel starts roasting him in front of 10,000 of his closest friends, or 5,000, how many are there. This is where Mark Burnett is when all this takes place. And you can imagine what Mark Burnett thought of Jimmy Kimmel in that moment. In 2024, when Donald Trump wins his second term, he actually appoints Mark Burnett to a very important role. He is the special envoy to the United Kingdom. That's a job he will hold until 10 days before Charlie Kirk is removed from this planet. I don't know if there's a connection to those dates or not, but he leaves at the end of August 2025. But if you look at the trajectory of Mark Burnett's career, it aligns with patterns we see in long-term embedded intelligence assets. Oh, we could use you in Central America, Mr. Guy we've developed through the media, through the military. That would be great. But might you be more valuable over here by getting to develop a close relationship with somebody? We'll make you their housekeeper. And you can get to know that person. Hang on. This is the career trajectory of an embedded asset who then is transitioning between an operational asset and then becoming a cultural asset and then even entering the diplomatic sphere. Somebody who's touching all areas of what's necessary at any given moment. I'll give you some examples from the JE files. Here is one example of Mark Burnett where he shows up in the famed files here. Let me make this a little bigger for you. If you follow along with me don't worry about this up here. This is just this woman forwarding this to Jeffrey of the JE files fame. But here is the email from Mark Burnett to this woman named Sarah. They've blurred her out, but I'll tell you who she is in a second. Sarah, I will be very glad to find you a place on The Celebrity Apprentice. The more I think about it, the more sense it makes for you. Oh, this Sarah must be a very important person. We'll find out who she is. You already live in New York. It's for charity, and it rewards fun characters who are smart. You are all of those things, and the promotional value might bring to being on a network television series is highly respected is immeasurable. Then he gives them the dates. The cast flies in on October 13th. It wraps on November the 13th. You can leave if you get cut early. Be a great promotion for you. I've CC'd my co-executive producer who will answer any questions. And this is the way I was able to figure out who this is. By the way, I will work with you on developing Duchess for a day, and we can use Celebrity Apprentice as a launch pad to sell that series. Well, Mark Burnett seems very invested in this woman. Who is she? Who is this mysterious Sarah? She must be quite the figure. Well, she's not. I can assure you she's not, because I was able to figure out who she was. This is, let me pull it up and make it a little bigger here. This is who Sarah is of the JE Files fame. Oh, not that one, this one. It's a woman named Sarah McLean. It's this sort of, I don't know, normal looking woman. I mean, like a normal 5, just a normal gal, not the type of people you saw dotting the Celebrity Apprentice. Those typically were very amazing looking people. I watched a few seasons of it. They were like supermodels. She would have stood out. New York Times, Washington Post, and USA Today bestseller Sarah McLean is the author of historical romance novels. Huh? This is the woman we want to put on. A, she's not a celebrity. B, she writes trashy romance novels. I looked them up. It's just like mom porn. That's all. Well, I shouldn't have said that word. Now we're going to get dinged. I said corn, YouTube. Corn, C-O-R-N. Mom corn. That's all she writes. You look at the covers of these books, you know exactly what they're about the second you see the cover. So you got this kind of, I'm not being mean, but this like frumpy, normal-looking gal who writes trashy romance novels, and we're going to put her on the Celebrity Apprentice? Why? Well, maybe if we go to Wikipedia, we can find out. Is there anything about this girl's past that would land her on Mark Burnett's radar and might give us a clue as to why Mark Burnett was able to fashion himself into some sort of a icon? Here's Sarah McLean. She is a New York Times best-selling American author of young adult novels and romance novel. Okay. First adult romance novel, 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake. Oh, that sounds great. I mean, doesn't particularly appear on her face as somebody who would be on Celebrity Apprentice. Well, let's go to her bio. Anything in her bio? She was born in Lincoln, Rhode Island. Okay. Italian father, British mother. Nothing weird there. Oh, the website reports her mother worked for MI6. Oh. Her mother was British intelligence. Mark Burnett excelled through the British military. Mark left and went into what many of us would consider an intelligence field, or wanted to, in Central America, but then was diverted into housekeeping. Oh, that's weird. So we have this highly trained special operator who is going to be moving to Central America, where the CIA, MI6, all the Western intelligence agencies were trying to kick the Soviets off the continent. And you had the Sandinistas, who were the Soviet satellite state trying to be founded. And you had the Contras and all these other groups that were fighting the Sandinistas. And so you had all these intelligence operators moving to Central America. And that's where Mark Burnett wanted to move. But he got diverted when he went to LA and ended up as a housekeeper and a nanny. Here, kids, here's your new nanny. He was a Green Beret last year. That's kind of weird. Like, I like Nate. I don't want him as a nanny to my kids. Valhalla. Keep podcasting. I don't need you nannying. I don't want Joe Kent nannying. Like, Green Berets don't need him nannying. But for some reason, somebody thought an operator at this high level needs to get into the nanny business and the housekeeping business and the t-shirt sales business, as almost as if they're trying to spend some time in LA getting him acclimated to the ground. And I think that exchange in the JE files is just one piece of evidence. And if you look through the rest of it, if you search his name in the files, you'll see several things where you'll go, looks like he might be intel. Well, that was one of them that jumped off the page to me. He's doing a favor for someone who does not belong on Celebrity Apprentice by putting her on Celebrity Apprentice, and her mom just happened to be MI6. And it wasn't like she was secret MI6. The girl is trading on the fact that her mom was MI6 by putting it on her website. So it's in the context of all of this that Andrew Kolvet ends up working for Mark Burnett. So does Johnny Moore. And they leave Mark Burnett, the same guy we've just talked about. They end up leaving him to go open their own shop. And their clients, the only ones he can name by name when he's talking to the New York Times, are PragerU and the Blaze. Greatest Ally fans. Okay. Now I think I see what's going on here, Andrew Kolvet. It's starting to make more sense. Now it makes more sense why you guys were just tracking Charlie Kirk and why there was all of a sudden this impossible position Charlie Kirk was put in, where internal text messages from a woman who was very close to Charlie Kirk, probably the closest person that worked was this Crystal woman, the closest person at TPUSA to Charlie Kirk at the time. He called her the de facto COO, a role that would be held months later by Tyler Boyer. And she gets run out on a rail. And the media's relentless, and they're trashing Charlie Kirk, and they're trashing TPUSA, and Charlie Kirk's at risk of losing all of his momentum that he's built through the first 5-6 years of this organization being up and running. And that's when, in a fit of desperation, he reaches out to Mark Burnett's former employee. Interesting. Interesting times. Interesting times. And it's that former Mark Burnett employee who, about that same time all this is going on with Charlie Kirk, and he's reaching out to Andrew Kolvet about this same time that Erica Kirk shows up on the scene. Interesting. And we've got to put this all in context. We've got to put this all in the context. When you read a tweet like this, just a few years later, after Andrew Kolvet's shown up on the scene, after Andrew Kolvet has de facto taken over the communication operations at TPUSA, after Erica Kirk's shown up, and then we see a tweet like this in April of this year from Charlie Kirk, April 3, 2025, just 5 months in a week before he'll be taken off this earth. It's going unnoticed because so much other news is happening, but the war drums are beating again in D.C. The warmongers worry this is their last chance to get the white whale they've been chasing for 30 years, an all-out regime change war against Iran. A new Middle East war would be a catastrophic mistake. Our military stockpiles are depleted from 3 years of backing Ukraine. Our effort to reshore manufacturing has only just begun and will take years to bear fruit. We would worsen our already immense deficit in national debt. Iran is larger than Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan combined. A war would not be easy and could easily become a calamity. Thanks to President Trump's restraint during his first term, America has a golden opportunity to pull away from Middle Eastern quagmires for good. Everybody likes to focus on this first paragraph. I like to focus on the last paragraph. We shouldn't throw that opportunity away that some DC has-beens can feel tough by sending young Americans to die yet again. Charlie Kirk, 5 months and 1 week before he would be erased from the human record. What do we know about who was backing this Iran war that Charlie Kirk was very harshly criticizing? Who do we know who was backing this war? Tucker Carlson gave us the answer just this week. Tucker Carlson claims billionaires Rupert Murdoch, Miriam Adelson pushed Trump into war with Iran. Hannity and Levin denied Carlson's allegation in the New York Times, while Murdoch and Adelson did not respond. Oh, I get it. Andrew Kolvet worked for a guy whose career sure looked like an intelligence operation continuing, who's very powerful, so powerful that when somebody slights him in 2016, that guy gets fired not once, but maybe twice. 9 years later, 10 years later. Somebody who was very close to the president, someone who's very close to Miriam Adelson. Andrew Kolvet then leaves that special operator's employ to go out with Johnny Moore, who we'll talk about later. He deserves his own show. Because this story I'm telling you tonight will make a lot more sense when I give you that part of it. I'm not going to do it tonight. I don't have time. But Andrew Kolvet leaves a guy, Mark Burnett, who looks like a long-term intel operation. And he goes to work for Johnny Moore, who also left Mark Burnett, what appears to be a long-term intel operation. They immediately go out and get two named clients that they're willing to name, PragerU and The Blaze, huge fans of our greatest ally. They pick up a third client, Friends of Zion, the Jerusalem prayer team. We now know the Friends of Zion might have been just the Adelsons. We know that the Adelsons gave Donald Trump $100 million, and Donald Trump said, I'm going to F her over. I believe that's accurate. I take Candace's word on that, but seems right. I've not heard Andrew come out and say that didn't happen. I've not heard Erica come out and say Candace didn't tell her that story, so I tend to believe it happened. And then in the midst of all this, Charlie gets all uppity and decides he doesn't want to go to war with Iran. Oh, that's not an option you get, sir. No. We've got entirely too much invested in this war with Iran. This is a multi-trillion-dollar operation. You think the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan netted trillions of dollars? Just wait. If you could clear Iran off the map, if you could take Lebanon, they've already taken Syria, take Lebanon off the map, they've taken Libya off the map, Jordan's next, obviously, Turkey. You create a non-Arab, pro-greatest ally, pro-Western government, European-style governance in the entire Middle East, from basically Tunisia to Pakistan, or at least Afghanistan, from Greece to Saudi Arabia, maybe even through Saudi Arabia, maybe to the sea. The economic consequences of that are not negligible. I don't even think you could measure them in the trillions. I mean, this could be hundreds of trillions. This could be thousands of trillions, like quadrillions of dollars long term. And Charlie was verbal against it. Showing up in the White House? Are you kidding me? Showing up in the White House to argue against this, then taking to Twitter to argue against it? Come on. I mean, just in terms of what they've done in Gaza, they think they're going to potentially get $1 trillion in value. All that beachfront property, all that access to fresh water, ports, and all that. I mean, you're talking potentially trillions of dollars. Now do the West Bank. Now do Iran, Turkey, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan. Guys, that's what Charlie Kirk was fighting. That's what he was against. And these were the people on the other side. They worked at TPUSA. They got into TPUSA and they were working there. That's my opinion based on all of this. But it raises the question now, you have to ask about a very controversial claim Candace Owens made that has never been adequately refuted, in my opinion.
Charlie lost his life. Charlie was in the Hamptons, and he had more than one event, but he had essentially what was staged, an intervention was staged by Bill Ackman, because Charlie's rational thoughts about Israel were a no-no. This is not the route that you should be going on. And Charlie was surrounded by his friends, his quote unquote friends. Bill Ackman was very upset, and threats were made. That is what I am told, and I will tell you that I am very happy for Bill Ackman to dispute this narrative. In fact, he was asked to dispute this narrative Max Blumenthal went out to him today, and Bill Ackman came back and said, I have receipts I can show you. And he did not provide the receipts. This is not how it went down. I know it went down this way. I'm waiting for one of them to go on record and to say that it didn't go down this way. It was at this time that Bibi Netanyahu was called and Charlie was invited to Israel. This was an under duress situation, I would say, because I've been in these situations before. When I started asking very sensible questions about Israel, as someone who had dedicated her political life to supporting Israel, many times alongside Charlie Kirk, I was met with the very same pressure. And just like Charlie was being invited to Israel, I was invited somewhere else. And when this arrived to me, it felt like a threat. I got to tell you that. It felt like a threat, like not like, hey, come here and we can educate you because you're my friend. More like, this is your last chance. That's how it felt to me. I can't speak to how it felt to Charlie. And I know that Charlie was offered a ton of money in this moment. A ton of money.
Who's been throwing around a ton of money that we've talked about tonight? Because one of the things that Candace has been struggling with is, where would the money have come from? Who's been throwing around a ton of money? I can't answer that definitively, but I've talked about people tonight who throw around a ton of money to get people on board with the foreign policy objectives of our greatest ally in the Middle East. Hundreds of millions of dollars at a whack. And for an organization like Turning Point, you're talking that kind of money. Lots and lots of money. Now, can I say definitively that Miriam Adelson or Bill Ackman or one of these people was willing to pay Charlie off basically to shut up and get out of the way? I can't say that definitively, but it's consistent with everything we've talked about. It's consistent with everything we've talked about. I just want to know who killed Charlie Kirk, how and why. I find it nearly impossible, while examining all of this data, all the things that were going on, not just the last 6 months of Charlie's life, but the last 10 years of Charlie's life. I find it nearly impossible to believe none of that was connected to his demise. And it just happened to be some weirdo from St. George, Utah, who heard Charlie Kirk was going to be in town, happened to crawl up to just the right spot and took a shot of a lifetime, single shot of a lifetime, and then stupidly confessed every detail to anyone who would listen. I have a hard time believing that. Maybe that's true. Maybe the trial will get here and we'll find out, oh, Barron, you misread this. I don't think I have. I don't think Tyler Robinson planned all this by himself. I think all this had something to do with it. Everything we've talked about tonight. It all led up to the fact that Charlie was alive and then he wasn't. In my opinion, that's just, to me, that's an inescapable conclusion at this point. The more I look into it, the more convinced I am that all of the things Charlie had going on around him contributed to his death, including these meetings, including the money, including the this and that, and the intel connections and the operator connections, and our only clients are pro greatest ally. And when we get to Johnny Moore, maybe it'll make more sense. Because if you look at Johnny Moore's clients, some of his recent clients, holy mackerel. But if you want a practical lesson, a practical non-Charlie Kirk related lesson, Andrew Kolvet was one of the first people to tweet about the ballroom in the wake of the, frankly, tragic situation at the White House Correspondents' Center. Even if it was, no matter what happened, it was tragic. I mean, guns should not be fired around civilians. And they were. So it's tragic. No matter how you cut it, it's tragic. People could have lost their life. And that would be an absolute tragedy. And in the wake of that, there was a psychological operation had to be led by somebody with the pull to start and execute a psychological operation like that. And one of the first people to join in on that was Andrew Kolvet. This is just my first night of covering Andrew. There will be more. There will be more. But I wanted to cover this aspect of Andrew. Connection to Mark Burnett, how Mark Burnett connected to Johnny Moore with Andrew Kolvet, how Johnny Moore and Andrew Kolvet connected to our greatest ally in political Zionism, how that connected to Charlie Kirk, and how Charlie Kirk then started bucking that group that had formed around him and then lost his life about the same time. Because when you look at it in context, everybody likes to say, oh, you guys just say stuff. You're just making stuff up. You just want to trash TPUSA. You just want to trash Erica Kirk. No, not at all. Not at all. I want to know who killed Charlie Kirk, and there's a lot going on here that needs to be explored, and none of it's being allowed to be explored. Why? Why are we so fixated on this weirdo from St. George, Utah, when all of this other stuff is going on around him? And you want the evidence that it's connected, in my opinion, look at TPUSA after the fact. Charlie Kirk, for 6 months, was pretty adamant. I don't want to go to war with Iran, period, end of story. It'd be negative for the United States. It would absolutely have consequences. I'm willing to give up money over it. I'm willing to take a hit to my reputation over it. I'm willing to give up access to sources. I'm willing to give up access to parties and all this other stuff. I'm going to bring on Candace Owens. I'm going to bring on Tucker Carlson. I'm going to bring on Dave Smith. I'm going to bring on Megyn Kelly because these people don't want the war either, and I want to give them a platform. I want to make them big as possible. I want that position to win the day. Bang! That's when he died. That's when he died. It was in the midst of that when he died. That is the story of Charlie Kirk's demise. It would be the single most convenient, random furry lover in history taking out Charlie Kirk on his own, completely planned, because it solved a massive problem that our greatest ally was having. And that was a significant investment of theirs with tens of millions of followers, who was beloved, who had one of the top podcasts in the nation. Not like small. I mean, like right now, they'll have 200 people watching that podcast. They've ruined it. They've ruined it. Charlie Kirk would have millions of people watch every episode. Millions of people watch every episode. He would go out and speak, and thousands of people would line up. They couldn't get in. It was standing 90-degree weather. The day he died, it was 90 degrees. There were people lined up so far they could barely see him. On a random Wednesday at noon. And he was campaigning hard behind the scenes, we later learned, and in public against the war in Iran, against intervention over there. And there was tremendous pressure being placed on him. Rob McCoy, not terribly long before he died. And now in the context of what happened in Aspen and what happened in the Hamptons, the speech makes more sense, but it's still on Rob McCoy's YouTube channel. You can go look at it, and you can, or his church's YouTube channel. And he says, I've talked to Charlie. He's not going to talk about our greatest ally anymore. Not going to talk about it anymore. He's moving on to the Muslims. Now he's got a problem with Muslims. That sounds like a pressure campaign. He's not going to talk about Iran anymore. He's just talking about the problem with Muslims. Okay. Gotcha. Boy, isn't that convenient that he happened to die right then in the midst of all this? 2 weeks after a pressure campaign in the Hamptons, 4 weeks after a pressure campaign in Aspen. What strangely timed demise. Or you could believe that all of that might have had something to do with the fact that he's not here. I'm going to spend some time. I didn't get to the ballroom tonight. I ran out of time. I knew I would. That's why I didn't do the opening at the beginning. Hopefully I'll cover it soon. Ian Carroll did a fantastic job in the ballroom Friday night. I've got some additional information. I'm going to highlight some of the things he talked about. He did a great job with it. He also relied heavily on the Dre files or the Dre dossier, so I'll talk about her as well. Highly recommend everything Dre dossier has said about the ballroom. Everything Ian Carroll said Friday night. Total alignment with both of them. It's a great education on it. But I do want to do a show on it. But I keep putting it at the end, and I keep not getting to it. I intended to get to it Thursday. I didn't. And I intended to get to it tonight, and I just didn't have time. But the other things take priority. The news from Candace late last week that Mikey McCoy reached out to her and said, look more into Andrew Kolvet. I obliged. I want to look more into Andrew Kolvet. I did this weekend, and I found all this. I want to do one more thing here, and then we can get to some of your comments. One more thing here, because this guy has done just tremendous work on this story. He's the one that put me on the 990s that I was looking at. This guy named Travis on X, Nihilo X, Nihilox. This guy right here. Only has 17,000 followers, but he's followed by some really fancy people. Go check him out. This guy's great. He's a great follow for this stuff. He's a deep diver. He's a good, thorough researcher. And you can read what he had to say about some of this stuff. But basically, he was able to draw the 990s from Friends of Zion, show the Adelsons, and show the connection to Andrew. He's also done some additional information on Andrew's family, some of their background. So it's an exciting read. I am going to do more on Andrew. I'm going to do some on Johnny Moore. But I knew nothing about Mark Burnett other than he produced some reality shows, because that's how everybody sort of pushes him off. But the career arc, man, cannot be denied. You don't go special operator and then on your way to do what is apparently very obvious intelligence operations in Central America, take a hard 90-degree turn and end up as a housekeeper and a nanny. Special operators don't nanny. They don't keep house. These are too valuable of people. They're too highly trained. They're way too highly trained. All right, hit the like button if you've not. If you like what you saw, I don't want to compel you to hit the like button on something you didn't like. But if you did like it, if you found yourself edified tonight, go ahead and hit the like button. If you do not subscribe to the show, and the stats say about 25 to 30% on any given show are not subscribers, please feel free. Would love to have you subscribe with us as we march towards 300,000 subscribers. If you want to know when I'm going to go live, hit the notifications. That will let you know that we're going live. And I will get to some of your comments. Where are they? Oh, they're over here this time. All right, let me drag them over here. All right. Excuse me. Mr. Coleman, I have been following you since you went on Candace's show. You remind me so much of Rush with your intelligence humor. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. Last week's show made me LOL. Me too. I kind of cackled watching some of the replays. I've been sharing your shows. Christ is King, Mary's Queen. May is Rosary Month. It is indeed. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. Thank you so much for that very generous donation. Did the rosary now to get educated, entertained, dinner done, and ready for our humble host to wrap up our Sunday evening and prepare us for the coming week. Not sure if you know how important you are to others, but you are. I don't know if you know how important you guys are to me. I mean that. I genuinely mean that. I've met a lot of people. I don't know why, but in the last week, I've met a lot of people who listen to the show. Some I've never met before. Some I've met and had no idea they listened. In each one, I've asked, like, you like it? And each one gives a slightly different answer. But I always, I'm genuinely humbled and appreciated anytime someone tells me they listen. It means a lot. Mike explodes in her thorax upward angle, stops heart, continues up neck into cervical bone, X's neck, severing. Okay, thank you. We tallied your hoodie frequency. Black, white, lavender, white are in heavy rotation. Navy and Vatican, not so much. What's the pattern, sir? Full tally on our X. The receipts department's weighing in on my hoodie colors. I don't know that I have a real, like, sometimes I'll have a mood. Like the other night I wore a black one, obviously, because I wanted to mirror Erica Kirk's crazy outfit where she looked like an Italian server from having a mental break. So sometimes I'll wear those for a given day. This one, it was clean. It was on the top of the pile. I just grabbed it. I was late coming in here. We had a little family party this afternoon, and I was very late getting back. I had to wake up early and prep for today's show. So today was just, red was on top, so I grabbed it. I don't know that I have a particular reason on all of them. Like the Vatican City blue one I did wear on purpose the other day last week. You probably thought of this, but maybe CTA accessed a bad site. The feds monitored. They Googled him. He checked all the boxes. He gave a choice of what he would rather go to prison for. Oh, yeah. No, I've thought of that. I always think of that. I did a whole show on how patsies are developed. That's one of my options. So thank you. You're talking about Cole Thomas Allen. Got my Crisis King tee today. Couldn't order fast enough. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the merch site. You know what sold really well this last week was the Holy Mackerel shirt. I had no idea. That people loved Holy Mackerel, but apparently. There you go. Who traveled with CK to the hospital? Dan Flood, Rick Cutler, Frank Turek, Brian Harpole. There was one more, and I can't remember who it was. It was the guy in the driver's seat, and I can't think of his name right now. Wasn't Scott, was it? Can't remember his name. Sorry. In Bednar's 11-15-minute video titled Full Vid UVU with CK at 105, 455, 610, 843. Dan does the arm move. CO says it's a thing he does. Tight shirt, maybe? No, he doesn't do it. So in each of the, I'll pull your comment down so you can see. I know what you're talking about. In each of those, he does straighten his arm, but he does not clearly step forward and tap his arm. It'd be the difference between me doing this and me doing this. Those are different moves. It would be like if I itched my ear for a second and then I went like this. And you say, well, he touched his ear. No, he didn't. Those are totally different moves. So I could not disagree more with you. I've been waiting 7 months for an Andrew deep dive. Finally, thank you. Ma'am, we just dipped our toes in the water. There's a lot more research coming. We're just starting. So stand by. There's a lot more coming. Hey, Baron. Hope good weekend. I did have a great weekend. Had a great week. Wearing my high IQ hat and Christ is King shirt. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. No quarter for Zio handlers. No mercy. Oh, I don't know what that means. I do not advocate violence. You know, if you want to talk badly about them, that's fine with me. But Baron, your last few shows have been fire. You always pray for others. Any prayer requests for you and the family? Yeah, I do. I don't know how personal I can get on it. Some life changes coming up in the family. That's all I'll say. Some difficult and some unbelievable. All difficult. All life changes are. We're creatures of habit. So some tremendous deep blessings and others harder. But yeah, pray for us. I would appreciate that. And when I can share more, I will. Time's not right. Nothing tragic between Mrs. Coleman and me. It's not that. So, and no, Mrs. Coleman's not expecting none of that. So, but yeah, just some tough life changes coming up. So thank you. I genuinely appreciate that. I'm not one of those people running around. I don't do a good enough job of it. I probably should do it better. I'm not one of those running around asking for prayers a lot. So but thank you. I would appreciate it. I love your show. What are your thoughts on Mikey leisurely walking away on phone during the UVU event, yet also being a source to CO about AK being sus? I've thought of this. So I'm a decision tree guy. I always try to give more than one option. Option A is Mikey, because he's so connected to the nerve center of TPUSA, may have even either been told or been aware that Charlie was a real issue and something was probably going to be done at some point. And when he heard the bang, he knew immediately and just walked off. That's kind of the favor I lean on that one. But I do give a very genuine other option that Mikey's just a young guy. He's naive. He's fearful. He's lived a tough life, tougher than you think, considering. I mean, a lot of us think, oh, his dad's a famous preacher, he's living $1 million houses. He still live a very tough life. And I think he's overcome quite a bit of trauma in his life. Probably has a lot of PTSD from some of the things he's experienced. And he probably deeply loved Charlie. And the moment he heard it, he just knew and just couldn't handle it. What I reject, I leave it open as an option, but I personally reject it, is that he was sitting in the middle of it and was aware and planning it. And I reject that from Mikey. I could be wrong. But I personally reject it. But it's another option. I mean, that's what I make of it. Hey, it's Angel. Thanks. My entire family loves the show and the theme song jam. My kids wouldn't let me mow the lawn because you were starting in an hour. Thank you for all you do, Mr. Coleman. Crisis King. You must have one of those big lawns. Takes you more than an hour to mow the lawn? Need to move to one of those postage stamp lots. It's like 1/16 of an acre. It's like your house, and then there's a 3-foot strip of grass on all 4 sides, and that's all you get. Just enough for the dog to do its wee. And then you know, that's it. That's all the grass you're going to get. You can mow it in like 10 minutes. Wouldn't miss any of the show. I'm curious if Mrs. Coleman listens to your show, or does she casually walk past your closed studio door to hear the Southern Lawyer? She did not listen to that one. But she heard all about it. I think I did play a little bit of it for her. Because you guys in the comments will tell me things I've said and I'll forget. And I think, man, I did say that, didn't I? Or I'll wonder, did I really say that? So I'll go back listening for it. So I did play about 5 minutes of it to her the other night before we went to bed. And I was cackling and she was tired. She listens quite a bit, though. She's I don't want to say she's a fan. I mean, she's put up with me for 25 years. What you see is what you get, guys. This is me. But this is what you get. This is what you get. Battle Red Hoodie. Yeah, it could be. Has anyone told you that my B just means my bad? And it's Tupac Shakur quote regarding Tyler Taste. Yeah, I've heard that. But I vastly prefer my interpretation. And think about the consequences of my bad. It means Lance was expecting him home at a certain time, meaning Lance might have been aware of what was happening. Why else is he late? I'm going to be late, my B. My B. I'm going to be late instead of my interpretation, which is my B. Yeah, I like that better. Much more fun. Much more fun to think about. Hey, Bubba Barrel. Please get me back on the moderating team, please. Thanks, Crisis King. Go back. I tried. I couldn't get you on there the other day when I tried. Send me a link to your YouTube channel. That's the easiest way to do it. If you'll do that, email me a link to your YouTube channel. I apologize. We had to shuffle some things on the administrative side recently. Mikey McCoy is now protected in plain sight. That was my point. Did you say that before I said it? That was my point. Sometimes the best place to hide is right out in daylight. For Super Ever, just came to say I absolutely love this high IQ outfit and all your breakdowns. Keep going, Max. P.S. We have 2 of our 5 graduating this month. Exciting and nerve-wracking. Yes, it is a very exciting time. Kids have to grow up. They've got to, get educated, get jobs, start families, all the things that kids do as they grow up. It's just a part of life. I had this conversation with somebody today about growing up and how, for some reason, my generation and the one above me, the baby boomers, the younger baby boomers, and the all the way through all of Gen X, we just refuse to admit we're getting older. I'm not. Like, I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. I'm 46 years old. I understand kids move, they leave, they pair up, they start families, they go to college, they do all the things. And I get it. I'm glad, because otherwise we're all infantile forever. I don't want to be an infant the rest of my life. What's up, my B? What up, my B? South Dakota mom here again. Want to let you know it's 77 today. Finally. We get all 4 seasons in 48 hours. Also, our capital is pronounced Pier. It's okay, we're still friends. Christ is King. That's the important part. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Then why does it spelled like Pierre, huh? Why is it spelled like Pierre if it's Pier? I don't buy it. I was talking to somebody today who was from Canada. And I said, it's too cold up there. She said, yeah, it's really cold. She gets it. How do you reconcile these 0.8 seconds Mikey McCoy turnaround with his tip to Candace? Got not get over that quick turn. I just did. I mean, I told you my thoughts, and it could be another option I hadn't thought of. This makes Sunday fun days for me. I used to dread Sundays. Thank you. Oh, don't dread Sundays. Go to church. Go to church. That's a line from oh gosh, what Chris Tucker. I think it was Chris Tucker. He hosted an award ceremony, like an MTV award ceremony, and Marilyn Manson played, and it was dark and demonic. This is back when that wasn't normal. And it cuts back to him, and he looks at the camera. He goes, "Go to church." Yes, Sunday fun day. MIC undershirt, also person on roof, used a device. Okay, thank you for all your theories. Growing high IQ by osmosis. Seriously, thank you. Welcome. I appreciate that. Baron just started watching your Google Trends episodes. Do we ever see any of the photos Charles McClintock Wilson took behind the tent? Yeah, he has a whole series called The Aftermath on Charlie Kirk. And I think there's 2 or maybe 3, maybe even 4, but I think 2 or 3 that he's published that are available behind the tent. You can go check those out. Some of them are pretty gruesome. I showed a couple, and YouTube smacked me hard on the wrist. And I got a firmly worded email and a firmly worded non-monetization letter. So I stopped showing them. I always wait for hold, please. At the end of the intro, do you think CK and TPUSA were involved with JE? I don't. Not knowingly. If they were, I don't think it was knowingly. Hey, man, please pray for my cousin. She was deployed to the Middle East today. All prayers are greatly appreciated. God bless you and your family. Thank you. I will pray for your cousin who was deployed to the Middle East. That's tough. I've been watching the number of planes flying in there, and it's escalating. I want to thank you from UK. I've been an atheist all my life, and since watching your podcast, I felt a connection to Christ. You've changed my life. Thank you, Baron. Keep searching for truth. That is unbelievable, Laura. Thank you for sharing that. I love when we share our victories with each other. Thank you for sharing that. I had that connection with a guy named Jim Brinkerhoff, who I met with at Auburn. And over the course of many hours of chatting with him, I started seeing that God was real and Jesus was real and played a role in my salvation and redeeming me to God. And I remember where I was when I was like, okay, now what do I do? Because my life has not reflected that at all. How do I handle this reality? So keep going, Laura. Keep going. But thank you. Baron, not only do you look like Bear Reinhardt from Need to Breathe Band, I sat next to your doppelganger yesterday on a flight from Fort Lauderdale to Providence. Told him he looked you up, agreed, and said he would watch. Oh, hi, doppelganger. I've never seen my doppelganger, so now I know where he's either in Fort Lauderdale or Rhode Island right now. Sir Baron, AK, has never once questioned, looked deeper into, or inquired more about anything that happened with CK. All this alone should make him a suspect or person of interest. IMO, God bless. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. And I agree with you. I think the nature of Charlie Kirk's death is so suspicious, and particularly in light of all the things we discussed tonight, the timing is so suspicious that anybody willing to dismiss it out of hand and say that they are confident with the very little information that's already been made public, and they don't have any more than that, just the very little information that's made public. If they can say, no, I'm confident it was Tyler Robinson, beyond a reasonable doubt, he deserves to be fried. I mean, stop it. Stop it. That's an op. That's an op, or you've been brainwashed by an op, one or the other. Keep your head, Dad. I'm taking mine on some tours this summer, too. Oh, you're talking about the college stuff. Yeah, it's tough. Tough. I like the school he's going to quite a lot. I'm a big fan of the campus, the location, the programs, the people. Very, very happy with where he's decided to go. Went to my second ever mass today. My family was out of town, so I was free to attend anywhere I wanted. Thanks to you, I went from skeptic to admirer. Beautiful service. You are moving mountains. Christ is King indeed. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I went to mass with some friends growing up, in elementary, middle, high school, whatever. You'd stay the night at their house. You go to mass with them Saturday night or Sunday morning. But as an adult, I'd never gone. And I remember the very first one I sat in. And I remember sitting in it and being so mystified that it was so different from where we had gone to church prior to that. So I feel like I can empathize with you. I've been blaring the new intro since the 100 and now keep catching my 9-year-old going about his business singing the Real Baron podcast. Da, 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 da. Yes. Baron, I sent you an email. Subject functional medicine. Please read from time. Very important. Thank you for all you do. Christ is king. Indeed. May or may not get to it, to be honest with you. If I'm being honest, I may not. There's a lot of emails in there that are unchecked. Despite Israel-sized plot hole, JFK 91 movie was fire. Let me tell you about that. I think it was an op. I think it was an op designed to push people off of the Israeli connection. I do. I think Oliver Stone was tasked with doing that, and he did it beautifully. But I will say the JFK movie, even with that major glaring deficiency, I think it was a huge red pill to a lot of people that our government lied to us about JFK. I think there were a lot of people who still to that time kind of just believed the Fed slop, and they didn't think the government would ever do something like that. Nothing that outrageous. I love how smart you are. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your very high IQ opinions and being a light in all of our lives. Sick in bed today, so seeing your name pop up made my night. Christ is king indeed, Victoria. Seeing your name made my night. See how convenient that is? Thought Mikey McCoy had a role to play, but I don't think he knew CK would die. So he whipped his phone up, called whoever, and says, "What the Joe?" Then they worry Mikey may go rogue, hence the amazing Mikey McCoy. Christ is king indeed. I think your thoughts and mine are very closely aligned. Very closely aligned. Andrew's history, family background, and Erica's together show intelligence FBI ties, two agencies we don't trust. So why would anyone trust TPUSA 2.0? Kristen, I agree with you. Critter KC, if that is your real name. I agree with you. Why would anyone trust them? What has TPUSA 2.0 done to earn your trust? What have they done to earn your trust? And don't tell me, oh, Erica's a grieving widow. Let's assume she is. Let's assume she's the most innocent person who was caught completely by surprise by her husband's death, and she's devastated. Irrelevant. Objection, relevance. What does that have to do with the question before us on this particular comment? What has TPUSA done since Charlie passed to earn your trust? Nothing. They've turned it into exactly the opposite of what he was fighting for the last, basically 2 years before he passed, certainly the last 6 months, and very definitely the last 48 hours. Valhalla Rockstar. Oh, I don't know what that means. First time I've caught you in a live for weeks now, Baron, tuning in from my living room in Scotland with my notebook, pen, and readers on, locked in. I'll join you. I don't have a notebook. I got a pen. You say pen? I'm ready. Where are we going? I don't have a notebook. I use those steno pads. I love them. They're so good. It's the best notebook ever. Dear Majesty, King Baron, are you willing to consider that Trump didn't change, that we, the rest of the world, might have been right about him this whole time? Because to us, he was always this way. He's a con man. I'm willing to consider it, but I will say this, his public pronouncements at the time were not consistent with his current public pronouncement. He did not want to do any more wars in the Middle East. He thought they were a waste of time and money and precious resources and a distraction and a detriment to the United States. And now he's launched a couple, really. So, I understand your point. Baron and team, great job. FYI, finally went to confession after 45 years. When I returned to Mass some years back, I had to work up to the confession. Thanks for all the ways you encourage faith, introspection, and others. Christ is king indeed. Annie, that's amazing. 45 years. That means you last went to confession when I was 1. I was little. I've lived a lot of life since then. Congratulations. Maybe I'm being paranoid, but did you check your bird box for bugs? The ops played dirty, so I wouldn't put it past them to try something like that. I didn't. I don't even know how I would do that. How do you check a bird box for bugs? I mean, I'm happy to do it if there's a seamless, easy way to do so. I don't know what they're going to overhear. I don't say a lot. I look at a lot of stuff, but I don't say a lot. Thank you, Uncle B. When I do talk, you guys are all listening, so they don't need a bug. They just turn on YouTube. Thank you, Uncle B, for all you and Ms. Daisy do. Longtime fan, brand spanking new member. They messed up, pushing you and Queen C together. Christ is king indeed. Hold, please. I had that conversation with someone this weekend. Believe it or not, I had that very conversation, not just with Candace, but with a bunch of us. What they took was a decentralized network of people that had no connection and made them teammates. And as you know, like if you have a basketball team and there's 5 people on the floor and they're all playing their own game, they're not going to be very effective. But if you force them to all work as a team, they're going to be very effective and they might beat you. When otherwise they wouldn't have had a chance. Off topic, I wonder why EK has never spoken of the files, the JE files, in concern for children and teen abuse. She believes she's a force. Bought and paid for fake. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. Could Mikey be defecting suspicion from himself to Andrew because Mikey was getting criticized at that time? Much love from Outback, Australia. It'd be a heck of a risk. If that was his game, that was very risky. And I don't think it would do well. Thanks for genius level investigating Baron. More disturbing is that EK was privy to MM telling Candace to look at AK, and then she doubled down on the Fed slop. Prayers for you and fam. Christ is king indeed. That was not lost on me. We're 4 months after that conversation. 4.5 months. King Baron, thank you for your service on this topic, sir. Also, go Braves. They're killing it this year. Braves are fantastic. They win tonight. I was watching the score earlier. They've just been smoking it this year. Oh, yeah, 11-6. Putting up football scores on people. Sir. Oh, they're doing phenomenally. Yes, indeed. Christ is king. Thank you for using the correct adverb form, phenomenally, instead of they're doing phenomenal. That always drives me crazy. Christ is king indeed. Always. Go, Max. Will do. Here, you dropped your crown while you were killing it. Keep going, bud. You got this. Tell them woo. Woo. I'm telling them woo. Woo. Thank you, Tara the Terror. That sounds terrible. Edge from Biden episode. I thought of Elvis and other entertainers, especially child stars who are treated as commodities. How sad. Charlie Kirk may have experienced this too. He basically was a child star there, wasn't he? To the extent like someone in their early 20s is still a child. Baron. Truth fighting needs fuel. You need a high IQ basmati. Wash your rice to remove starch. Combine 2 cups of rice. I've given everybody the perfect recipe for rice. I don't need a new one. And I don't wash my rice. Soak my rice. And then I cook it in all that starch water because it makes it perfect. Baronite, I saw this term on the feed. Is this the fandom name here? What do I need to do to become a Baronite? That's you're in. Show up, participate. I've seen several names of the people. I think the jury stuck. Baronites has stuck around. You're in. No further anything needed. Christ is king indeed. How do you reconcile the behavior of Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles? I used to love those guys, but struggle now after the sport for Erica. Love New Zealand. Oh, I'm a big fan of New Zealand as well. I've never been there, but Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh are an interesting case study. On the one hand, I do think they're semi-talented. I think Matt Walsh is probably a more talented broadcaster than Michael Knowles. That's not a knock on Michael Knowles. I think they're both serious about their Christian faith. I don't question them or doubt that. But I do wonder, how do they reconcile that reality with the mission of the person who employs them? Because I think the mission of that person is ultimately the destruction of the Christian faith. And that bothers me. That bothers me. And I would be very curious if anyone would ever ask them that. Like, you work for a guy who believes Jesus was a random guy killed for his troubles. I think those are his words, not mine. I think that's what he told Joe Rogan. I don't believe that. And I would have trouble working for someone who did. A random guy killed for his troubles? No, I don't believe that. And so I I have trouble with the Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles thing. I think Matt Walsh is very talented. I think Michael Knowles is pretty talented. I've enjoyed both of them over the years. I've listened to podcasts I've thoroughly enjoyed with Vic. I'll say that. I thought honestly, the appearance at the University of Idaho last week was very weird. It was not their best moment, either one of them. And I wonder if the pressure's kind of getting to them because they both looked very out of sorts in that environment. Hey, Baron, I work on campus and would enjoy meeting you if you come. Fully support what you're doing. Also, the Secret Service agent fire blanks. No one hit. That last part's a good question. Where are the bullets? Why did you fire all those rounds at somebody pretty close and not hit anybody? I mean, Tyler Robinson supposedly made the shot of his life on the first try, but it's not the same, obviously. But so I do, and then if they didn't hit him, how did they catch him? That's the bigger question for me. Is if you did not shoot that kid or Cole, whatever his name is, Cole Thomas Allen Thomas Cole, whatever his name is. If no one hit him with a round, how did they subdue him? Someone tackle him? Was that on video? Where was his shirt? I mean, there's just so many questions. Why did the Secret Service agent with the dog walk in there and then walk out? He immediately runs out with a gun. You didn't see the gun? Show of hands. Who else screamed when she said, Mikey? I was verklempt. The mental wheels were smoking. Now validate Mitch and woohoo. I was shocked she said it. I'll be honest. I was shocked she said it. She knows a lot. I didn't have my high IQ basmati yet. It's 2 cups water, 1 cup right. Yeah, there you go. Now we're cooking with grease. I think that Andrew sold his soul for fame like Erica, though at times he seems less comfortable with it than she does. Could be. I mean, that's the price for fame in Hollywood. Kerfuffle, LMBO. I literally laughed out loud, a.k.a. commotion, ruckus, brouhaha, uproar, stir, and a big to-do. Keep going, Max, my good sir. Christ is king indeed. Kerfuffle's a great word. A great word. Charlie Kirk. I like saying it like Mark Levin does. Charlie Kirk was a high IQ individual. Nobody disputes that. How did he pick such low testosterone, ambiguous orientation individuals? They're not all ambiguous. Some of them are just outright on the other team. Some of them aren't hiding it at all. In fact, I think it's very interesting that one particular person there is not getting any press. He showed up like a month before Charlie died. He's obviously alternative. Let's just say that. I don't know what you're allowed to say on YouTube these days. Obviously very alternative. I mean, he's like Facebook pictures with his boyfriend on Facebook. He was hired as Charlie's assistant. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's so inconsistent with why it was that Tyler Robinson supposedly wanted to remove Charlie Kirk. Like, one of the last hires he makes is a gay guy to be his personal assistant. That's just what I'm told. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just relaying facts. And he was there. He went by Binder Boy for a while because he's seen carrying binders everywhere. Mr. Coleman, please tell my husband, James, I adore him. He's an exceptional beyond words. Grumpy, but exceptional. God bless your beautiful family. P.S. Ireland is indeed stunning. I promise. I believe you. And I believe you about your husband, James. Buddy, Emma loves you. She'll prove it to you by watching more of this program. My number one thought was Israel framing Iran. Ballroom was not on my bingo card. You mean you didn't immediately take to Twitter and say this is why Trump needs a new ballroom? What's wrong with you? Thought everybody thought that. Sorry about DJT thing. You know I love your highness. You're just so grounded and brilliant that it baffles me. Best podcaster ever. God bless you. God bless you as well. I don't have a problem with disagreeing with people. Like, that doesn't bother me. You're never going to be like if you came out right now, Anna, and said, I think Gavin Newsom would be the best president for this country in 2028. I would disagree. I don't want him to win. But I'm not going to be like, that Anna, she's the worst. She's what's wrong with this universe. No, it's not you. Queensryche, Operation Mind. I haven't heard Queensryche since the 80s. That's who's saying Silent Lucidity, right? That was a great tune. Silent Lucidity. That's a great song. Operation Mind Crimes album covers what the Adelsons were doing with that clinic. No joke. I believe you. I have no idea what it means, but I believe you. I believe you. Wow, Noah, thank you. And Paige, thank you. Thank you. Just trying to make up for the money you lose because of YouTube censoring super chats. I don't think it's accidental. Yeah, I don't have much to do with what they said. They censor a lot of words. I can't help that. She thinks she's famous. She just wants to be on the show. I won't let her in. She says, well, then they're going to have to hear from me. Just trying to make up for the money. Oh, sorry. I already read that. Thank you. Very generous. Noah and Paige. Official Fetty Slop. It goes deep counsel. So deep counsel. How deep does it go? Bo Teach was part of all this as well, but he has fallen from their graces. Many more are connected. We dropped a dossier on your ex. We have no more. Hold, please. You talking about Shmuley? You know, I heard something about him. I didn't know. He and his, allegedly, I don't know if this is true, but I heard he and his daughter have an interesting business they run together that shocked me. They're not the kind of business I would run with my daughters. I don't know that he was connected to it. I've not seen that, but thank you. A lack of any family member publicly defending Erica speaks volumes. You know, you just put a thought in my head that's brilliant. It's your thought, but it's in my head, so it's extra brilliant. Only her TPUSA family defends her. Also, why does she never say Charlie or Jesus? It's always my husband or the Lord. Odd, indeed. Let me tell you something. I keep hearing, where's Tyler Robinson's family? If he didn't do it, why aren't they saying so? Where's Erica's Kirk's family? Right back at you, kid. Where are the aunts? Where are the uncles? I mean, actual blood relatives, not these rando Solomons and Rothsteins. I'm talking about like the Franzways, the Abbasses. Where are they? The Kirks, frankly. Where are these people? Like Erica Kirk is under a full assault. About every 3 days, every establishment conservative on X loses their mind over every little assault on Erica Kirk, and nobody in her family comes out and says, guys, she's a decent person. Please leave her alone. Not one. Not one blood relative has come to defend her that I'm aware of. Her mom hasn't come out to say she was with me that day. Stop saying she wasn't. She's free to. She's not. Kent has not come out and said anything. Kent's sisters have not come out and said anything. Where are these people? Where are these people? Her sister has not come out and said anything. So I don't want to hear the Tyler Robinson's parents. Tyler Robinson's parents have a legal reason why they might not say anything. Erica's family doesn't. If she's so great, where are these people? Why are these losers on it? Why is Brandon Tatum the only one you can get to defend you? Who, by the way, his right-hand man got arrested recently for allegedly, his right-hand man, allegedly arrested for allegedly soliciting a prostitute. Homeless drug orgs get a lot of federal state dollars. They don't need money. This wasn't about money. You will never convince me that drug company in Las Vegas was run for money. Not at all for money. I wish people, they're worth billions. They don't need 100 grand from the feds or even 100 million. I mean, they give away 100 million just to convince Trump to let them take over the West Bank. They don't need money. I wish people could see me dancing and swaying and grooving to the music in the intro song. It would be 100% proof that white guys do have rhythm. Christ is king indeed. I'll take your word for it, sir. I don't want to see it. Woohoo. I kept trying to catch the live, but life and work. Watching past 2-1s on 2X with the crash outs had me dying of laughter. There were no crash outs. Congrats on pay raise of 2 graduating. Oh, no, that's actually a cost, ma'am. They cost more when they graduate. I don't know if you know how it works. Hope I heard that right. Love your thoughts at work. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, I had one leave last year and one will be leaving next year. Not leave. I mean, they're both still here, but yeah, no, they don't cost less. I promise you, not at all, not at all. But thank you. Hi, Baron. I'm thinking the perfect Medicaid fraud operation as well. Most patients would have to be enrolled to pay for methadone. Thoughts? Love the show. Yeah, I don't think it's about fraud. I think there's got to be some sort of nefarious, diabolical, satanic reason to have that clinic. Not a little extra money. They're making billions of dollars off the casino and off of just investments. Andrew tied to Butler, UVU, and White House Correspondents' Dinner. 3 coincidences. Well, Andrew, that's a loose connection there. The loose connection on the first one. Yeah, that's I mean, even if we're right, it's still kind of a tenuous connection. But yeah, that would be interesting if you view it that way. Swamp Monsters exposed. I believe our president played with fire and is now completely owned. Saddens me deeply that he became what he said he hated. Thank you for all the hard work. It seems stressful having to go back and forth through the government slop. I appreciate listening weekly. It is stressful. It is. So could Mr. Orange have had Charlie Kirk because he thought he was the rat to Adelson that got his ear pierced? Could the two pow-pows be connected? Yes, they could. They absolutely could be connected, but I don't know. I don't know that. But you're asking could. Certainly they could be. Hi, Baron. I'm so glad to join your community. Thank you, Saffronov Live. Did I say that right? That's how it's pronounced, isn't it? Your content is exceptional and wishing you all the best. I'm sure TPUSA are scared of you, Candace, and others who are investigating. I don't know if scared is the right word. I don't know if scared is the right word. I find it odd that Mike and Elizabeth were very active on social media, posting at least to their stories daily ever since Candace made that announcement. They haven't posted anything. Hope they're okay. Yeah. But Baron, are you still working with Daisy? I haven't heard you mention her lately. Yeah, we talked today. Certainly. What do you think will happen at TPUSA tomorrow? Is Mikey likely to be fired? What so you think the play will be? I think he's pretty safe, honestly. It's going to be weird, but I think he's pretty safe because if you fire him, isn't that kind of an admission of guilt that it happened? Speaking of Theo, I have a something I can't use for a show LA Tuesday. If anyone can go, it's front row. Oh, it sounds like a ticket. Contact Michael Jester. Great show. Great show. Kimmel joke was about Trump's health, not an assassination, in my opinion. Yeah, it could be. Baron, fantastic episode. AK is a real bad vibe. I used to work for an opioid treatment center and can confirm it's a seedy crowd. Also have a merch order from 424 that seems to be stuck. Number 2769. Thank you, CIK indeed. Hey, email realbaronpodcast@gmail.com and say merch order question and put all that in there. And Nurse Casey will take a look at it. There was a flight that went to the MA family home at one point. I remember you covered it. It was about the episode about the security who met up after. The MA family home. What was the MA family home? I don't know what that means. Weird connections, Jimmy Kimmel, Andrew Kolvet, and Hunter Kozak. It just keeps overlapping. The evil is blatant. People need to get right with Jesus. Well, they need to get right with Jesus anyway. But I agree. There's a lot of connections. Apparent connections, allegedly, in my opinion. You can defame us for having Trump on Burnett. But who made everyone turn on Trump in 2016 is well documented. People flipped simultaneously. Okay. Yeah, talking about the Billy Bush tape, that one. At what point do we need to investigate whether Charlie knew the shenanigans with TPUSA? I mean, I have my suspicions he did. But the problem is, how are you going to investigate that and prove it if you don't have access to his phone records, his emails? I mean, certainly not something he would have said publicly. He wouldn't have written on Twitter about it. So how are you going to investigate it? That's the biggest issue. You can suspect something all day long, but if it's something that requires you to have access to their handheld device in order to prove it, or their computer, or their laptop, or their email, you're never going to prove it. Unless somebody comes out and says, oh, yeah, he was aware. Here's what he was doing behind the scenes. He was trying to get it stopped. Burnett would likely have connections to Prince Andrew during the Falklands. Therefore, Einstein. I don't know how many of them were down there. I mean, it's a war. Couldn't have just been like 2 of them. Wouldn't have just been the 2 of them on a boat. Lazarus Love. Thank you. Very generous. Side note, is there any follow-up on the female who was muck-ducked at the Batman movie after she basically lucked out on the first shooting in Canada? Just curious. I always appreciate how down-to-earth you are. God bless you and your family, friends. Christ is king, indeed. I have done a little follow-up, but not anything I feel like is reportable. But I do have a little folder going on her. That's a weird story, man. 2 mass shootings in a couple of weeks. That is a weird story. You certainly look like a target. You have to be considered that you were a target when there are 2 mass shootings right where you were that quickly. Has to be investigated that way. British Parachute Regiment has a dirty reputation. News to me. I was not aware. I'm catching up on your episodes this last week. I need to know how you know how to pronounce Puyallup, Washington properly. I grew up there. And now we live just outside of it, about 15 minutes. I told you there's a famous Baron Coleman in Puyallup, Washington. And it's pronounced just like it's spelled. So I don't know how else you're going to pronounce it. Yallop. Yeah, thank you. That's how. There's a Baron Coleman there. He's a school teacher. Don't harass him. He has nothing to do with me. Selling T-shirts like EK. What did the T-shirts say? Oh, that's a good question. Oh, I didn't even make that connection. Maybe it was proclaimed streetwear. Oh, no. But it was about? Well, no. Hey, Baron, fellow Nashvilleian, but I work in some programs that don't have congressional presidential oversight. I work 2 months on, 2 months off. I emailed you. I don't. Emails are becoming a very bad way to get in touch with me. So I may or may not see that. I apologize. But got you. My daughter's first birthday is 5/5. Her favorite song is the theme song. A shout out would be the best. Happy birthday, Savvy. Christ is king indeed. Go Max. No sabe. No sabe. I kid. New Spanish speakers will understand that. Happy birthday, Savvy. Savvy. Wonder what that's short for. Savannah? If real Charlie Kirk and real Baron O and real Baron Podcast, Candace O and real Baron Podcast and real Alex Jones is some sort of real Psy-Op, I'm here for it. Great work, Baron. Go Team Truth. Yeah. It's not that I'm aware of. If so, I'm not in on the joke. I'm not in on the joke. There's someone just sent me a trend of Candace. What does she have her name and face on her shirt? So what? Why is that a big deal? I mean, it's her merch. Why would she not have her name on it? Why is that trending on X? Who sells merch that doesn't have their brand on it? Like even Adidas puts their brand on it. Come on. That's ludicrous. Lucy in the Sky, how can I contact you? Theo. Oh, you must have a bite on that ticket. Lucy in the Sky with diamonds. I like the Beatles. I'm a fan. Watch Trump's reaction to the destruction of 9/11. Also have a friend who treated Barron for vax injuries. Thought for sure Trump was in it for us. You're talking about Barron with 2 R's. The Donald's son, Barron. I didn't know he had vax injuries. That's wild. Oh, the tangled webs they all weave. Really quite mind-blowing how these nefarious facets are connected. Excellent sleuthing, Inspector Coleman. Thank you. Appreciate that. She's a 5. B, you're being kind. Well, so I've got a rule. I will never call someone less than a 5 unless they're like damaged. That's the only time I'll call them like a 4 or 3. Like you got to be damaged. That's just a kindness thing. It's just me being polite. I've just saw the 2 pictures of her. I can't, I'm really not super looks judgmental. I'm really not. But when you're talking about, like, if you were talking about, we're going to have her be a Victoria's Secret runway model, I'd be like, oh, come on, guys. She doesn't fit the type. Like, I can be judgmental in that scenario. And same thing with Celebrity Apprentice. I watched it. The men and women on that show were, to a person, gorgeous. Every one of them. that I recall. I mean, was there any weirdo on there that I'm forgetting? At least in the early years, because that's when I watched it. And so I think in that context, I can at least say she doesn't fit in with the crew that they were casting her for. But I would never look at like a normal woman and like judge her based on her look. I don't care. But if you're going to be on the Celebrity Apprentice, I have a right to say something else. It's not your looks that's getting you there, honey. You sure it's not Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York? I'm pretty confident. Yeah. I mean, that girl wrote a book called Duchess for a Day. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, in which case, even more intel connections. In regards to EK's gaslighting, the Lord did not show pity or have compassion on their orphans and widows, since all of them were evildoers, and every word they spoke was impious. Isaiah had a way with words, didn't he? You imagine the Holy Spirit prompting Isaiah? He writes a sentence there, and the Holy Spirit's like, harder. Like, but Lord, I already said that they were unkind. No. Evildoers. I don't know that I can put that. I mean, they're orphans, widows. I'll just call them impious. No. Evildoers. All right, God, fine. Evildoers it is. Here am I, send me. You did touch my lips with a coal, after all. Isaiah 6, look it up. I would have thought it was Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, Duchess for Day. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. But again, intel. I believe the connection to the methadone clinic may have been a low-level recruitment operation designed to find lower-level contacts and possibly also handler training. See how well someone can work with people. I don't know. I think it's something. I don't think it's just, hey, we got billions of dollars. Let's open a methadone clinic. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Mom corn. Good luck, Crisis King. You know the types. You've seen the books. 50 shades of all that good stuff. Mom corn. King B. A cool autumn Morbin. Oh, autumn. You're in Melbourne. I was like, it's not autumn. It's spring. But I guess down there it is. My daughter Tilly keeps hassling me to send you super chats. Curious, is your Tilly a Matilda like my Tilly? She also likes to know how you chose to know how you chose the name Tilly. No, she was a rescue dog, and she had a collar on that said Tilly on it. So I figured she'd been through enough trauma. She was young. She was only like 16 weeks old, but I think she was found in an abandoned house. She had fleas and ticks and just mange. She looked terrible when we got her. And we had to kind of, work with her to socialize her. So she, I didn't want to change her name, even though she may not even known her name at the time, but Tilly's Tilly. And we got her kind of from my now 16-year-old daughter. She was 13 at the time. And so I asked her, I said, do you want to change her? You want to give her a different name? No. Her name's Tilly. We're going to go with Tilly. Mm-hmm. So no, not short for Matilda unless they didn't tell us it was. Are you, yep. I don't know. Maybe. She did a guest appearance in there in the file. Okay. It could be. Maybe I read it wrong. Not the first time I've been wrong about something. Maybe not be the last. But again, that would be more intel connections than the daughter working for MI6. The only thing there is she got hit with a stray because I called her a 5. And now I feel bad. That girl didn't do anything. If that's the case, if that wasn't her, that girl did nothing except write some mom corn. You just took a stray. 5. Oh, man, I get hit with a 5. What did I do to deserve this? This is terrible. How do I get it off of me? Oh, it's stuck. Stuck on me. Oh, no. Now everyone's going to know. Sorry, lady. Seems like these Five Eyes are really one big giant spy ring worldwide. Was MB's t-shirt hut on some same street corner where he could observe important people in one or more buildings? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. Yes, the Five Eyes are one big spy ring. And what they do is, if the U.S. can't spy on our people, they'll outsource it to Australia or New Zealand or England or Canada. They'll spy on it and then share the intel with us. It's just nonsense. New rules to break when romancing a rankings. So not only did she catch a stray 5, but now we're making fun of her book. I don't know what it means either, and I'm not going to read it and find out. I'm not even going to Google it and find out. I'm scared to death. I am scared to death of what the FBI would see on my Google history. I'm not Googling it either. I don't want them to come out and be like, well, he was looking up how to romance a rake. You know what that means, you know. Happy Sunday, everyone. Hit that like button and subscribe. TJ Kirk dropping membos left and right. Wow. Wow. Thank you. 10 membos. Special Ops working as a nanny is the plot of the movie Pacifier. Really? Wow. So they might have been telling us how this is actually a thing. This is how this happens. Maybe different Sarah, but GM said she was J.E.'s girlfriend. Why would J.E.'s girlfriend be doing something called Duchess for a day? All right. Please look into the Leah files. Deep dive on Johnny Moore and AK from March 28 and 29. Incredible deep dive with more info. Love you, B. I like the Leah files. I think she does great work on X. If you've not checked her out, you should. Who was he nanny and housekeeper for? Love RBP. I don't know. I'd love to know. If anyone knows, please contact me. But I'm probably not going to read it because you'll send an email and I'm not good at checking them. Sarah Ferguson, married to Prince Andrew. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep, I got it. You guys got me with the Sarah thing. I mean, maybe that's right. But that girl wrote a book about being a duchess for a day, so I assumed it was her. But I hit her with a stray 5, and I do apologize. My deepest and sincerest apologies, madam. It will never happen again. It'll probably happen again. It won't happen tonight. It might not happen to you, but it'll probably happen to someone. Somebody's going to catch a stray 5 another day. Y'all seen Schmurdeers? This is exactly the same. No, I haven't seen Schmurdeers. I don't even know what that means. Mark Burnett is also involved with Mr. Beast. Something to watch out for. Well, I didn't know that. Trump is where the buck stops, and he took us into war because he wanted to. Always did. Tuck is still making excuses for POTUS's decisions. Is it fair to say he always wanted to take us to war with Iran? I don't know about that. Mikey, get out while you can. 1-800-BAR-COAL. Number 1. Yeah, press 1. And if you call that number, I have no idea who you're going to get, just for the record. I mean, that could be absolutely anybody. Alex Clark tanked an indie radio show, yet she claims it was number 1. Then she was on a reality show by Mark B called Before TPUSA. Mark produced the dating show EK was on also. Somehow they tie back into Lucas Miles in Indiana. Look at that. It does not surprise me that Alex Clark tanked an indie radio show. I've read text messages about her. It's amusing to me that she has not gone to them and said, "What do you say about me behind closed doors?" Because it's obvious. She blocked me, so I know she heard what I said about her. I don't know who Lucas Miles is. I just looked him up for the first time. Never heard of this guy. Know nothing about this church. Influence Church is what it's called. Is that the name of the church? The lead pastor of Influence Church, capital Influence. What does that even mean? Granger, Indiana. Where's Granger? Granger, Indiana. Place in Indiana. Boy, it's out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, that's Michigan. Not even in Indiana. That's north of South Bend. It's in North Bend. That's crazy. It's way up there. But it does not surprise me at all. She tanked an indie radio show. I don't know if that's true. I did not know she was on a reality show called Before TPUSA. Why would anyone care to see this woman? Hey, I'm not going to say it. I almost said something really ugly. No, I'm not going to say it. Sarah Duchess of York on Apprentice 2008 says, yeah, I believe it. I'm willing to accept you guys are right. I missed that. I don't care. I woke up with your intro song stuck in my head the other day. Well, I've done that as well. Those of us who didn't vote for Trump knew of his character flaws in the years leading up to his candidacy, praying we get through these times. AK worked on Celebrity Apprentice with Trump. I didn't say that. Well, I guess I did say that. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I said he worked on Celebrity Apprentice. Interesting times we're in. How Erica can watch as her people are slaughtered in Lebanon while accepting support, monetary or otherwise, from the folks enabling it is so wild. I don't think she cares about those people. Edge, Miriam has been a burr in my bonnet since DT said he was a friend of our greatest ally. Now America know the sandbox. Yeah. And didn't Candace say that Andrew wanted that money or was upset about that money? Maybe Andrew set that up with the Adelsons. I didn't want to say that, but that's kind of was my thought. That was kind of my thought. If this is all true, it's clear like why Charlie had to go, and that's horrendously tragic. I agree. So was CK just the first, a warning to Trump and others? I don't know. Baron, I was surprised to hear you say last week you didn't think CK was in. I didn't. Gotta listen to my words carefully. I speak with specificity. I'm a wordsmith. I don't speak loosely. I said she didn't kill her husband. And I believe that. I'm surprised to hear you say last week you don't think EK was involved. That's not what I said. Confused how you would think she wasn't involved in any way, given everything you reported, because I didn't say that. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, Monica. I'm not blaming you. I'm the speaker. The burden is on me to be clear. I thought I was, but let me clarify. I don't believe Erica Kirk killed her husband. That was the claim she made about Candace. Then you have Candace Owens claiming, I killed my husband. No, I never heard Candace say that. I've certainly never said that. And that is the limit of what I said. I hope that's clear. If it's not clear, we'll clear it up in the near future. I felt a shift, 9-10, with Fort Huachuca, with the Mikey revelation. Now tonight sends a chill down my spine. Lord, help us all. Yes, indeed. Baron, please keep yourself and your family safe. Okay. I'll do my best. I think if anything happened to me now, isn't that like a confession of guilt at this point? Like even if my brakes fail and I go off a cliff, isn't that pretty much a confession of guilt that they're all in on it and they did kill him? Like, isn't that not guilty? Boom, not guilty. Tyler, go home. If AK is running things, that makes his statement, it should have been you, a lot crazier. Shenanigans. That's a good point. Thank you for that generosity. Matches my shirt. Yeah, I agree with you. It does make things a lot crazier. I don't want to say he's running things, but he's certainly, I think, far more implicated in the power structure that led to the demise of Charlie Kirk than previously believed. Hi, Baron. I'm 14, just finished my end of year test for 7th grade homeschool. I did very well. My family and I love your show. Christ is king indeed. P.S. This super chat beeth my first old chap. You're an old soul, son. You're an old soul, and that's a compliment. I was just saying earlier, we don't want to be infantilized. You're not. Congratulations, History 73W1S. I hope 8th grade treats you well. In that group meeting of Charlie and the leaders of college chapters, AK looks so uncomfortable with the conversation, then he has him on Ben's show. Yes. Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. You nailed it. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. What did they do to Ian? What do you mean? Let me address that. So Ian did a show Friday, and he disclosed, and I was not going to, but I talked to him off and on while he's been off air. And he told me he was dealing with some health concerns, but also working hard on some other projects. And he said, and I said, well, listen, your health is nobody's business. So I will relay to my audience who is genuinely concerned and just wants to know you're okay, that you're very busy and you're working on other projects. He said, I appreciate it. So I did. That's not me being dishonest or anything. I don't think it's anybody's business. He shared it, and that's his business. But I will say this: it's nothing that someone would have been able to do to him. Like it's not that, it's not like someone poisoned him or something or shot him. It could happen to a 1-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 50-year-old. It's just normal health concerns that millions of Americans deal with on a regular basis. Nothing terminal, nothing crazy, but obviously pray for our friend Ian. Lift him up in prayer, and he's an important, vital voice in this country, genuinely, on many, many topics. And so I pray he regains his strength and stamina and can get back at it on a regular basis. I miss hearing him. When I listened to his show Friday, I was just gleeful the whole time. I thought, man, I missed this. I missed tuning in to Ian. It hadn't happened in weeks. So, but yeah, nobody did anything to him. I am captivated. Best episode today. Thank you for your commitment. Promise us you will stay on the side of truth. God is working through you. Christ is king indeed. Oh, thank you. I will. That's my commitment to you. I'm not a liar. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you what I see, how I see it. And when I'm wrong, I'll correct it. If it was Sarah, Duchess of York, fine. Intel. Doesn't change my conclusion at all. I just really feel bad about hitting that woman in the back of the head with a 5. Feel terrible. Collateral damage. What can you do? Didn't AK say that he lost millions when CK refused the money offered when he was at the intervention in the Hamptons? Heartbreaking. Christ is king indeed. That is what Candace said. That is correct. Candace relayed that. I have no way to verify it, but I also have no reason to doubt her. Unbearable show. Incredible investigative work. I understand. I said it in Uptalk because I thought you were telling me it was terrible and I was going to question it. Incredible investigative work. I understand the feeling of wanting to bring out the truth, but please be careful. All of this makes me uneasy. This is dangerous territory. I hope it's not too dangerous. Bingo. This is key to all. I thought so. I thought it was a big show. Kind of how I felt when I was going. Yes. I'm aware. I believe you guys. You guys have convinced me. Coming in late. Maybe already covered history similarities and perhaps overlap of AK and Hunter Kozak. Knew each other before the Big Bang. Yeah, maybe. Now, Mark Burnett did work on a project. Let me see if I get this right without looking it up. I think he did work on a project with Kimmel, but not like an employer-employee relationship. I think they were both like maybe on the same project at some point. But I don't know. I can't honestly remember if that was when Hunter Kozak's dad was with Kimmel, or if it was when Andrew Kolvet was there. I'd have to follow up on that. You just put that in my head. The fact that they repaved the area where Charlie was shot is even more suspicious when you consider 80% of the population in Utah County is Mormon and they observe the Sabbath on Sunday and don't work. I'll take your word for it. I think it's suspicious anytime you pave over a crime scene in 4 days. That's suspicious by nature. 30,000 in the chat. Baron, keep going, Max. Did we hit 30,000? Oh, please. My goodness, we did. 31,000. And only 16,000 likes. Shame on you people. Hit the like button. Come on, hit it. If you like the program. Of course, I'm not holding you hostage. Wow, I didn't know we got that high. Thank you, guys. It's amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Brilliant. Your delivery gets better and better. Thank you. Learning from the best. Baron, congrats on number 36 on Spotify and so close to 300,000. You, Daisy, and Nurse Casey are doing such important work. Love you. Platonic, of course. Christ is king, indeed. Love you too, Miss Jackson. Woo! I am for real. Love you too. Yeah, it was number 36 on Spotify today. I was at a little event this afternoon and someone mentioned the Spotify charts. I was like, here, I'll show you. And then because they were asking like who else was on it. And I was like, I'll show you. I'll just pull it up. And I noticed it was 36. I was kind of shocked. But thank you. So I couldn't do it without you guys. MM's body language in the interviews post Big Bang speaks volumes. I don't think he was privy to everything and reacted in complete shock that it actually happened. I worry for Mike. I don't believe his dad has his son's best interest at heart. I don't either. And I don't think Mikey thinks his dad has his best interest at all. I think Mikey's terrified of his dad. And I think he might have good reason to be. Pray for Mikey. Pray for Mikey. Baron, blown away by the show so far. Yes, I know about the Sarah thing. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment as well. The work you and Candace are doing is very important. Hope we can find peace soon. I think we chip away at it every time. God bless you. Thank you for standing up for truth and justice. Thank you for your generous compliment. Do guys like Burnett know they're being embedded, or is it just hustle? Was the jump from nanny to mogul a conscious intel op, or was he just climbing the ladder and didn't realize it was built for him? That's a really fantastic question, Katie, and I don't know the answer to that. I would say that I doubt he was like, hey, I'm going to go to Central America and do all this fancy military stuff. I love L.A. Is there any nanny jobs open? He's like a 27-year-old military operator. Not a normal nanny position. You've seen movies. You've seen rich people. Their nannies are hot. No, I'm just kidding. They not hot dudes. No, I'm kidding about the hot thing, but they're almost always women. I mean, nanny. The very word means woman. A nanny goat. I mean, by definition, a dude can't be a nanny. He could be like a Billy. But, here's my kid's Billy. People are like, what the hell's a Billy? I mean, it's a nanny with a third appendage. I don't know. Leah Files is doing great deep dive on TPUSA. I'm aware of that, and I need to bookmark. I need to go look at it. I like the Leah Files. The stuff I've seen that she's done is great. So let me pull her up, make sure Mikey McCoy. I'm going back a little while here. Democrat vote. Hey, I'll scroll later and find. I don't want you to sit here and watch the side of my head while I scroll. But you several people have mentioned this now, so I want to scroll back and find it. I may have seen. I've seen several people write things about Andrew, but Travis on X is one that I've really relied heavily on. Getting rid of CK will be the end of the Greater Allies project. They didn't think this through. Oh, I don't think you've thought it through. I mean, you're trying to stop a multi-trillion-dollar train. Keep that in mind. I sure hope the Shetland pony got his walking papers on Friday. Talk about the miniature horse. Someone do a Google Trend search on hoodie color. Oh, no. Am I in trouble? Any possibility of getting our Lady of the Dre dossier on your show? I'll reach out to her. I would love to interview her. I'll reach out to her. Hold on. Let me pull her up as well. Oh, I got that one. I got so much stuff pulled up. Okay. I'll pull that up and I'll reach out to her. I like her. I like her stuff. 2022-23. Charlie begins his Moses moment, leading the youth out of bondage. Funny, we talk about bondage on a night. We talk about the mom corn. Devastatingly, that's when the clock started ticking for him. Yes. I believe the clock started ticking for him in October of 23. No doubt about it. Laura Loomer, George Farmer DUI document. Has Tennessee spelled wrong? Says he was born in Nashville and has black hair. Can you look into it? I was aware of all that. That's as much as I can do. Like, short of someone in the police department sending me the original, I don't know what to do. I don't know anybody in the MNP. I do know somebody in the MNPD, actually. I know several people, actually, the more I think about it. But I'm not going to ask them to break the rules. Now, if they happen to watch this and want to break the rules on their own and send it to me, that's their business. That's their conscience, not mine. I kid. Praise be to Allah. Donald Trump, we need to protect the children and ban Metsititepe. I don't know what all that means. To save the infants. God bless Operation Epstein Fury. I think it's a little over my head. I don't know. I mean, I'm aware the first sentence was Trump kind of clowning on the religion of the Iranians, but I don't know what the rest of that means. Kolvet is Russian speaker, right? I don't think he is. If he is, I'm unaware. I know Tyler Boyer allegedly speaks Russian. If the names John Sejna, Anatoly Golitsyn, and Yuri Bezmenov are known, they should definitely ring a bell. If you don't know, ask your chat. Kudos from Almany. Duly noted. Duly noted. I don't know any of those names. And I've never heard Kolvet spoke Russian. I think Mikey married a native Russian speaker or a Russian speaker. I think Eliza McCoy may speak Russian. Her family certainly does. I know Tyler Boyer allegedly speaks Russian. Maybe Andrew does too. I don't know. I've never heard that. Is the Ballroom indicative of shielding the elite from military action on its own people? Great show tonight. Love you, brother. I don't know the answer to that. No mercy in research, sir. My apologies. That's okay, Boise Jet guy. We're good. We're good. But Baron worked full-time, grad UA last night. Oh, congratulations. With Russian degree. Oh, no. Another Russian speaker. Love watching UNCO. Coworkers call me Candace. Best compliment ever. Christ is king indeed. Well, thank you, Bren Warnke. Thank you. I appreciate that. And congratulations. Go Max, in other words. Oh. I will. Baron, thanks for connecting these dots. Amazing. High IQ. Also, first thought when a friend sent text about White House Correspondents' Dinner was, they will try to sell the Ballroom. As a veteran, sad about skepticism on U.S. Christ is king indeed. I did not have that thought at all. All of a sudden, I'm looking at Twitter. I'm like, why the hell is everyone talking about a ballroom? What does this have to do with anything? Have you Googled the highest order of Satanism? Not a coincidence. Revelation 14:9. I have not. You have any information on the standard level of security for Charlie in the previous year compared to security on the day he was muck ducked? Christ is king indeed. I don't. I just know Brian Harpole said they usually had like 6 or 7 people, and that day they had 12 or 13. I have no idea why they're different. I don't even know if he can be believed. Are you doing a deep dive on Cole Allen? If you want to have some information on what church he attended that I can email. I've already seen that. Love what you do. Christ is king indeed. I think I'm going to let that marinate a little bit and let some information bubble to the surface because I started a deep dive on it. Got into his parents, members of the community, the church and all that. But I'll be honest. I didn't find very much. Now, maybe I just gave up too early. I only spent a few hours. I have reviewed several texts from friends of Zion asking me to talk about Philly with them. I thought it was because of some videos I did. Now I'm convinced. You know who was in my videos. Wow. Interesting. I didn't know they sent text. We will be praying for the Coleman family. Christ is king. Thank you. Thank you for that, TJ. Thank you. Genuinely. Thank you. Have you talked to CO about filing as a victim for the Charlie Kirk case? No, I've not, because I know you're talking about Wills of Finance, and I've talked about that several times in the show. I disagree with him. I don't think it's a possibility. I think the judge would immediately dismiss it and maybe even sanction her for trying. So I read that statute differently from Zach. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying if she has not talked to me about it, but if she came to me and said, I'm thinking of doing this, I would say, please don't. I think it'd be a drastically poor decision. Baron, I just wanted to celebrate my 1-year anniversary in sobriety with you in this wonderful community. It's gotten easier every day, and a little encouragement goes a long way. Love the show. Go, Max. Christ is king. Brooks, congratulations on 1 year, 365 days, a full circle around the sun for those of you who believe in the roundness. You flat earthers, I don't know what a year is. It's like so many whizzes around the dome. But congratulations, Brooks. Congratulations. I mean that. Looking forward to year 2. Baron behind Erica at White House Correspondents' Dinner. Mikey McCoy or Baron Trump? I think it was Mikey McCoy. She could have warned him so he could make his own exit. She didn't have to bait him. Diabolical. Did she bait him? What bait are we talking about? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I think that I read MB did a show like The Apprentice in Israel that looked for who could be the best propaganda. Oh, really? That's worth looking. Mark Burnett. What was it called? The Apprentice? Apprentice Greatest Ally. He sued a TV channel over there for copyright infringement, alleging their show, The Ambassador, was a copy of The Apprentice, mimicked the format, similar elimination style, 14 contest. Yeah, so I don't think he had anything to do with that. He sued him over it. But I could be wrong. But that's the way I read that summary there. Any idea what family Burnett was nanny for? No, taking tips. If you know, let me know. Your Southern lawyer was giving me Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil vibes. Loved it. Crisis King, indeed. Going Max. That was a great movie. Great movie. You are kinder than I. I will never forget his walk away, like the ex you gave of bank robbery. For example, first to the courthouse, but still very involved. Yes. Get to the courthouse, Mikey. Your future may depend on it. You got a kid coming. Happy my macro design is so liked. Yay, Tracy. Yeah, it is, Tracy. That Tracy's the one that sent in the macro design and said, hey, if you're looking for holy macro design, here you go. It's great. Put it on a shirt. It's a huge seller. It's only on one item, only on crew neck sweatshirts, and then people love it. Hunter, dad, and also work for Jimmy Kimmel on ABC. Yes, that's correct. Is CO protecting MM? I hope so. How would she protect him? I'm not being smart. I don't know. I don't know how she would protect him. Mark Burnett was networking Hollywood, perhaps, maybe. Mikey had it hard. I agree. Yes, I think it's harder than we know. What little I know is hard. We need Bull Butter merch. You have it. Go to the realbaronpodcast.com. Hit see all. There's Bull Butter shirts on there. And I think a Bull Butter hat, maybe. I'm not sure. Got here late, so I'm behind. Here's the new nanny. He used to be a Green Beret. LOL so hard I spit my drink out and it hit the TV. Who needs fiction when you have the real world? Thank you for all you do. Please never change. I will never. I might grow older. I might mature. I might settle down, but I'm 46 and haven't yet. I really love your show. I need help with something. I can email you, please. Your knowledge is greatly needed. Appreciate you. Prayers for you. Again, I might not see it. I appreciate your faith in me, but I don't know that I can help you. If it's legal, I will not help you. I'll just save you the trouble. I don't do legal work for people I meet through. My hard and fast rule used to be I will never do legal work for someone I meet through radio. I'm extending that to podcasts these days. On Sundays, I go to church and watch the Baron Coleman podcast and cook food. Good. It sounds like a full day. Tiffinator. Bubba Baron. It sounds like a old 67 Nova trying to get fired up. Baron. Proud member of the grand jury. Just bought a Holy Mackerel shirt. Thanks it always going Max. High IQ outfit here. Christ is King indeed. Indeed. World, you just buy. Wow. What is that? Just got a notice. Don't know what that was. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. Notice that all the folks are opening or exist in Las Vegas. MA has power there. Who's MA? Who are we talking about? Oh, Mary Madison. Oh, okay. Oh, the MA home. I got you. Global hub. Traffic, laundering. Doubt it's coincidence. Christ is King. I didn't even think about the fact that TPUSA TP Action was opening a headquarters there. That I didn't even think about. Good call indeed. I know we have some prayer warriors that watch. Please pray for my small family. We just found out my husband and his sister have Huntington disease. What is that? I will pray. I don't want any name. I don't want any disease with a name. Tells you right there, it's bad. A fatal inherited neurodegenerative disorder causing progressive motor, cognitive, and psychiatric decline, typically appearing at age 30 to 50. Wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope there's a treatment or something. Prayer, obviously. I will pray for you and your family and their Huntington disease. I'm sorry to hear that. A happy hairdresser. Sorry to hear that. Wow, Baron gets as much or more live chatters than these stupid PBD podcasts. Well, I'm not comparing myself to others. I'm just doing my show. They can do theirs. Sounds to me MB had the means to kill CK. Well, a lot of people had the means. Could Sarah? Yes, she could be. Yeah, could be. AK thought I didn't suspect him at first because he cautioned Candace through this light. Now I would say he's trying to silence her and Tucker. Yeah, that could be. He could have known that the two people who'd come hardest after him were Tucker and Candace, and he wanted them to not do that. You don't want to end up on these people's radars, guys. Settle down. That's a good call. Thank you, Baron, for all your time. Just a thought, since the assault on police and their money size with BLM, well, they probably take it out on public in revenge. Zero rights, things to come. I don't know. I don't know. CBS plays a bigger part in this than people realize. Erica was hanging out with Survivor winners numerous times back in 1718, was very cozy with them, especially Joe Englund. It's weird. I didn't know that. Was she? I'll look that up as well. We'll add it to the list. She was a groomsman in his wedding? What? Hold, please. Okay. This is an interesting development here, ladies and gentle people. The battle is physical. The war is spiritual. That's the lesson of the Bible. I pray every day for truth, of course, on God's time. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. Asking for prayers. Long story short, I found hidden cameras in my house. My kids were filmed inappropriately. The sentencing for the purpose May 8, and we're praying for justice. What? How did people get access to your house? It's crazy. Courtney Gully. Oh, I shouldn't have said your name, but you did. Wow, Courtney, I'm so sorry to hear that. That is horrific and terrifying. Wow. I'm praying for justice too. According to the Gold Standard, Burnett's first wife, Kim Gold's memoir, she has a lot of family in Israel and Masada. 1988, Burnett took a 6-week course in Judaism, married by a rabbi. He worked for a father. I got to look that up. Man, you guys are great. The Gold Standard, Burnett, Kim Gold. How did I get there? Wow. That's incredible. Thank you. Attorney expertise continues to shine in order to ensure the message is received with a special passion. Go Max and Christ is King. Thank you. Thank you. Annoyingly late because YouTube didn't notify. Rolls eyes. That's annoying. Here's a tip for Miss Tilly's treat jar. She's becoming the RBP mascot. She's annoyed I won't let her in. She sleeps right here all day next to me. So when I close the door, she gets all anxious and she just starts barking at the door. This is her nest. I have to vacuum it like 7 times a week. Thank you for all your diligent work, B. I will be keeping you and your family in my prayers. Keep kicking butt and taking names. I will do my best. Because this is a high IQ outfit. 1, Pierre, South Dakota is pronounced Pier, like beer, for a reason. Byron Wizard. What's the reason? You didn't tell me the reason. Byron Wizard White played football at the University of Colorado. Oh, okay. Good call. Good call. I said Michigan, my mistake the other night. Continue to bulldoze linebackers like Mendoza did. They don't stand a chance in my Indiana red and white hoodie. EK is a guilty widow. That's your opinion. Allegedly. Your opinion. Grief and guilt aren't too different. For instance, when I feel guilty after eating Taco Bell, I say, good grief. Why would you feel guilty after eating Taco Bell? It's one of the, this may out me. I love Taco Bell. It's one of my very favorite fast food restaurants. In fact, this is a true story. One year, I did a whole year with no animal products, completely vegan. I don't recommend it. I was weak. I lost a bunch of weight. I looked terrible. People thought I was like fatally sick. Nevertheless, I did it. The day I broke it, I went to Taco Bell. Now, this is 2001 or 2 money. I spent $12 at Taco Bell, which is like today is like $100. Not really, but it felt like it. And I mean, the bag weighed like 10 pounds, and I ate every morsel. Blah, blah, licked my fingers, licked the paper that the soft taco Supremes came in. I mean, I just crushed it. And for like 10 minutes, I felt like a king. And then my body was like, hey, we haven't been making the enzymes that need to digest all this animal fat. You're about to pay the penalty, bud. And I did. But I love Taco Bell, and I pay no penalty when I eat it now. My 21-year-old M.O., what's an M.O.? Loves your show. She cried and cried Friday night because you weren't on. Oh, and I'm never on Friday night. I'm on Friday afternoon sometimes. Member shows. Hold, please, and intro fleet are on repeat at our house because of her. My mom's name is infamous for the show, but she's high IQ. Christ is king indeed. Oh, my M.O., is that your mom? My 21-year-old M.O. I don't know what an M.O. is, but I'm happy to hear about the fandom. Thank you. This could be the Psalm 83 war. Israel stands alone. I doubt it. Speaking of flights, went outside to 6 jets flying over in a tight pattern. I thought we were under attack today until I realized we had an air show at Randolph behind the house. Oh, yeah, that would be terrifying if you were under attack. Where's Randolph? Randolph AFB. Where is that? Oh, San Antonio. Is that right? Yeah. San Antonio. That's a great town. A great town. Regarding Candace outing Mikey, I don't think she'd do that without his consent, or at least telling him she was going to make the reveal. Thoughts? I haven't asked. Epic landmark show. MM turned away as a reflex. He didn't want any knowledge of a crime or the crime scene. You and CO are always in our prayers. Christ is King. Thank you. Thank you for that. I mean that. Christ is King indeed. I think they put a bug in that Ducks football that was gifted to Charlie by Burnett, and it's in his home office. What's the power supply? That's always my question with bugs. They got to have power supply. Charlie was petrified after the Hamptons. I could have never imagined how much this would unravel. Charlie's tragedy leads to everything that's tragic. Thank you, Baron. I agree with that. It's not lost on me that Harrison Smith tweet about Charlie being afraid they would kill him if he ever turned his back on him was right after that meeting, I think. I don't miss a live for Super. What is the black thing hanging off Charlie's chest in the Charles McClintock Wilson aftermath photo? Hanging off of his chest. I don't know. Let me try. Oh, please. I can't show these. Black thing hanging off his chest. Oh, that's just a strap from somebody's bag. I think that's Brian Harpole's bag strap. It's not hanging off his chest. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. Now we need a merch pin and notebook to write bare notes for the grand jury. Ideas on what they say on them, guys. I don't know that I can do that. I have to check that out. A phenomenal show. Thank you, Lord, for blessing us with truth tellers like Baron. Go Max, Christ is King indeed. This corruption goes deep. Baron and Candace are a breath of fresh air. I want a t-shirt that says fuddled by daffodils. We're working on it. We got more merch lined up. It's just got to roll it out. You got to get it designed. I think it's one of the top 3 most important episodes you've done. Stay safe, brother in Christ. Thank you. Wow. Baron A is the problem. The flight, this backstory and non-story. Methadone must look deeper. Most of these are multi-million-dollar companies, own chains like McDonald's. Something very off here. I agree. Something very off there. Regarding pronouncements, Trump has posted his own interview from decades ago calling the U.S. to invade Iran and take their oil. This was always his position. People were just not listening. That might have been his position decades ago. It was not his position when he ran in 2016. It was not his position when he ran in 2020. And it was not his position when he ran in 2024. And that's what I voted for. I wasn't voting for what he said in 1986. Baron been following since high 300s subs. Wow, Yeager, you've been around a long time. Had high hopes then. CK's term. X and exec op to backblast BB boy. Sadly, no. But 100% felt you would be the intellect to press the signet ring into the wax on the case. God bless you, Daisy fam and CO. Thank you. Thank you. You've been around a long time. That was September. Baron, when is the members show this week? It'll either be Tuesday or Friday. I've got to check on my schedule. It'll be one of those two. I'm not sure yet. Makes AK telling CO it was supposed to be you hit completely different. It does, doesn't it? If for no other reason, then what was the complaint about Candace and Tucker? Not only that, man, you just brought something into my mind. This is an important comment you just made. If Andrew said that, it was supposed to be you. What it meant was it was about our greatest ally. Because there's nothing else that they shared in common with Charlie. it raises the possibility that a high-profile neutralization was meant to silence everybody on the issue. Gosh, I don't know. That's crazy. That just hit me hard. For all the mysterious tragedies that have gone unsolved, it's inspiring that for once, thanks to you, the truth about Charlie Kirk might come to light. You might change the future of the entire world. It's not me. There's a whole team of people out here. Not one person driving the bus. I mean, if anything, Candace driving the bus, and we're all just helping out where we can and grabbing supplies and throwing them on the bus when we get a chance, right? I voted A for you on Valhalla VFT the other day. Congratulations. You and your family are my prayers daily. Yeah, I watched that show. I watched it, and I saw the votes coming in on me, and I was scared when he mentioned it. Like, oh no, don't put me on there. I don't want to know what people think. But I made the S tier, so that's great. The highest tier there. So I was proud of that. I was very proud of that. But I did watch that. I voted in a lot of them. I did not vote for myself. I did not vote on mine. I thought that was uncouth. And I probably voted on half of them. About half of them I just didn't care to weigh in on. They were the people I didn't know very well or didn't feel like I knew enough to vote one way or the other. But that was a cool show. If you want to go back and watch it, Valhalla VFT had a really fun show Friday night. But Baron, the dog, alerted the supposed shooter. They think we were stupid. It looked like it to me. You're talking about the White House Correspondents' Center? Sure looked like it to me. Sent super chat on Grumble. YouTube censoring is really bad. I'm sorry, Moon Goddess. I'll check it out in a minute. Love from Holland. Love from Middle Tennessee. Dutch Silver. Can you please replace Trump's old picture with Charlie Kirk? No, I can't. This is sending a message every day. Absolutely is. This is one of the top 5 most important episodes you've done by far. Bless you for chasing truth. May God keep you and bless you. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. I appreciate that. I had no idea it was going to be that impactful. I thought it was a big show while I was putting it together. Every time I looked up more information, I was like, wow. Very honest question. Well, I have 2. With CO's wealth of knowledge, how has she kept things so quiet for so long, especially with the attacks? And is there evidence of an affair between A and E? So I can answer the second one easy. No, there's none whatsoever. I've heard people speculate about it, but baselessly, and I don't know what to make of that. With regard to the first one, Candace is one of the more disciplined people I've ever seen. The relentless assaults on her, man, I would have been throwing information out left and right. Every time they hit me, I'd have been like, boom. Oh, you want to hit me again? Boom. Let me tell you, there's more where that came from. That is not all she was sitting on. That's not at all she was sitting on. She could crush some people. And I assume she will. If I'm them, I just say, you know what, Candace? Let's call a truce. You do your show. Let the courts do their thing, and we'll figure out what happens. But this relentless assault on her is not going to end well for a few people. I mean, I'm just being honest as I can possibly be. It's not going to end well. I've seen it. I seen it. Not going to end well. Jet Dog just jumped. Okay. Good. I didn't know you had a jet dog. Why so sad? I want to go home. Oh, why so sad? Yeah. Jesse did a good piece on that. Hey, started a little late. We were all out of breath from dancing. LOL. It's so catchy. Love you. And Christ is King forever and always. Yeah, I always bop a little bit while it's going on. I'm always pulling my stuff up and bopping around. My dog just ran to the front window barking after Tilly barked. I know how far behind we are on these comments. Christ is King indeed. Merch request, Bubba Baron. Mark Safe flag on white tee saying from having Mikey McCoy ask Candace, look at me. Miriam was the donor who got mad at Charlie Kirk when he told Tucker to go max at his last Amfest. Thank you for always going max. Christ is King indeed. Yeah. Sir, I choked. CMW aftermath checked and saw some photos. What I missed? Please advise. I don't think you missed anything. I mean, those were photos behind the tent as they were carrying them off. I thought that's what you were asking. So sorry. I thought they were graduating college. My bad, B. Oh, no. high school. I'm not that old. Come on. How old do you think I am? Ongoing patent lawsuit with Erica and their in-laws. I've seen no evidence of that. I don't know why people keep saying it. If there's a lawsuit, there's a filing. Show me the filing. I've seen no evidence of that. Hey, Baron, love your show. Off topic. May is Lyme Disease Awareness Month. I tested positive 5 years ago. This is a lonely and debilitating disease. Please pray for me. I will. I absolutely will pray for you. What was I reading about Lyme disease? Was it ivermectin? Somebody was recommending high doses of something. Don't take my word for it. I'm not a doctor, but maybe look into it. It is devastating. It's a devastating disease. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. Mikey showed zero surprise. He was on the phone and casually walking away before Charlie fell. Do you think he's seen so many murders up close that he was desensitized? No, I don't think that. Or he 100% knew it was coming. He never looked back. I'm actually in between there. I don't know that he 100% knew it was coming. I think he might have suspected at some point it was going to happen. I have a friend that attended, that's just a guess, allegedly. I have a friend that attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner. They had no security except 2 floors below street level. The ballroom was 2 floors down and had no cell reception. The hotel was still operating to the public. That's the rumor. I mean, that's consistent with all the public reporting. But Baron, thank you for everything you do. Please pray for my husband, Mikhail. He has to get a colonoscopy at 35 years old. Well, he needs to get it then because I had a friend diagnosed with cancer in that area at 39 and he passed away pretty quickly, like within a year or two. So this was recently. So please have him get checked out. If there's any reason whatsoever to get checked out. Notice my lexicon shifting from holy cow to holy mackerel. And I'm not mad about it. You shouldn't be. Holy mackerel is a great expression. Tyler's family has shown up at the hearings. Erica has not. That's correct. None of this was Mark Burnett's idea. He just found someone who would do all this for them. That's how the game is always played. Pawns. Yeah, I mean, I believe that. I believe that. I think J.E. was a pawn. We all act like he's this criminal mastermind. I don't think so. I think he was an opportunist. He was a pawn who got to play in a very high-profile role and took advantage of it and was a total pervert in the meantime. The Baron Christ is King, they use addicts as hunting prizes. I hope that's not true. Kimmel's joke seemed more like a diss to EK, but if it wasn't for Erica, the glow of a widow wouldn't be a thing. Oh, I didn't think about that. Maybe that's why they're so hot and bothered. If EK knew it was Mikey since December, wouldn't she have already told AK, especially if they're involved together somehow? I mean, they're involved together in the sense they work together. I don't want to spread a rumor they're dating. I don't think that's true. I have no well, let me say this. I have no verifiable reason to suspect that's true. Maybe a reason Mikey has laid low. I do think it's a reason Mikey's laid low. I mean, he knew he reached out to her. Jim, have you seen the Henry Martinez X account? Thoughts? I have. Or the 1890s Baron Trump time travel book. I've seen that as well. Pretty strange things. Maybe a member show hole. Christ is King indeed. I would love to go down a hole on those. I think my Henry Martinez take may disappoint some people. But the Baron Trump will not. That's crazy. That's totally crazy. Control addicts' access to their substance. They will do anything to get it. Easy access to vulnerable people willing to do anything. That's kind of what I thought. Thank you for your investigative work. You're brilliant. Thank you for your generous donation. You're brilliant, Allison. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Is it possible AK told Adelson what Trump said? Of course. Oh, and by the way, Charlie may be a problem. AK is making me more sick by the minute. Yeah. Both are possible. If AK told Trump, CK rat him out, it's unforgivable. Agreed. Wouldn't CK's desire for a Doge implicate his suspicion of hinky activity? Man, that's hinky. That's a word I haven't seen in a while. Hinky. Not kinky. That would be a different show. Hinky. Hinky. That's back to that 5 they got hit. It could be suspicion. Tonight's show gave me the most eerily dystopian feeling I've had yet. So close to the who, how, and why, but no one will believe it. Justice for Charlie. We got to stay on the case. I understand there are elections being fair when you control both sides. What then happens when someone you can't control comes up? Will it remain fair? I've seen this before in Cameroon. Christ is King. I don't think our elections are fair. I think they've been hacked for decades. I think gubernatorial elect down to state representative races, I think, get hacked and fixed. Baron, look into the Sackler family. I have. Purdue Pharma. They made Oxy. I believe they are known friends of the Adelsons. When one of them gets hooked, the other gives the method. Oh, one of them gets them hooked. The other gives them methadone. Big government money and addiction centers, all fake and gay. I don't think that the Adelsons opened an addiction center in Las Vegas for money. Let me just be very clear about that. I don't think it's for money. Well, I don't think it's for money related to methadone. Let me be even more clear. I don't think it's for money related to the reimbursements for distributing methadone to crackheads. Best I can do. You're probably a Zennial, as am I. We're in the gap generation between Gen X and millennials. Keep on keeping on. Prayers to you and yours. Yeah, sounds about right. Trafficking methadone patients' kids. Maybe. I don't know. I love seeing your subscribers go. I can't help but check all the time. You're a true asset to the world with your intellect, thinking, and humor. God bless. Thank you. Thank you. But Baron, do you check all your gifts for bugs? No, I don't. Probably should. I don't have any gifts that plug in, though. Well, that one. But I know who sent that. I don't think he'd bug me. I've known that guy for 15 years. I don't have any other gift that plugs in or has a battery source other than the Bird Box. And it came straight from Amazon in less than a day. That'd be a heck of a... like I mentioned Bird Box, and the next morning it was on my porch. Like within 18 hours. That'd be almost unbelievable intel work. First thing I thought about when you were showing off your little bird whistler. I don't say anything in my house. I don't talk to anybody. I know this is terrible, but I can't get past MM's huge smiles after especially first day back CK show. I know people smile when nervous, but this felt different. He looked genuinely happy, excited. I'm really struggling to see it. Anything else? Yeah, it's a decent point. I get it. Baron, regarding TRKs, can courts subpoena the NSA? No, we've settled this time and time again. They cannot. People have tried it in divorce cases. They tried it in, felony criminal cases. You can't. The courts won't let you. Go, Jim, fight back. Yeah. Whatever that means. Not only Mikey, but source who told CO could be outed now too. I was shocked as well. She said it. Made me think about protecting sources in journalism. Well, we don't know that he told her never to tell anybody. I follow up with it. I guess I should ask that. Baronites, love you all. Christ is King, just starting episode. Can't wait to hear Baron dissect AK. Oh, you're about to have fun. Helga shabba labba ding dong. You're about to have a little fun. I think Sarah in the JE, yep, aware. Makes her a duchess. Yep, got it. But Baron, the irony, pause from catching up on current Survivor, season number 50. I'm watching. Oh, they're on 50 now? I saw 45 when I was Googling. That's interesting. Didn't EK audition for Survivor? Oh, did she? Did she really? Erica Kirk audition Survivor. No, that was The Amazing Race. Different show. Now, maybe she did, but I've not seen that. Special young man turned 23 today. He is a United States Marine, huge NASCAR fan, roots for Denny Hamlin every Sunday. Great husband who loves and supports his wife. I'm so very proud to call him my son-in-law. Please wish Skylar a very happy birthday. This will be the first time I've ever wished a happy birthday to a Denny Hamlin fan, but I'm going to allow it. He's a good driver. He's a little too straight-laced for me. That's probably a good thing for your son-in-law. You don't want your son-in-law to like a psycho. Mom Corn, 50 Shades of Iowa. That'd be a book to read. The security dog at the correspondence dinner convinced me it was a hoax. Dogs do not lie. You and Candace have changed my entire perspective on politics. Christ is king indeed. You're welcome. It's called a red pill. Been watching since GT. Google Trends. You and CO are my staple shows. Never miss. How I wish that I could have been raised in your family or had you a brother growing up. Look into OCI class in preparation for converting to Catholicism. Thank you. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I would have loved to have you as a brother. That'd have been fun. Or sister. Are you brother or sister? Buddy. I'm going with brother. My teenage nephew is having confirmation soon. Any favorite Bible quote? Christ is King. Prayers for you and your family from Croatia. A confirmation Bible quote? Yeah, so Psalm 32. It's short and I think it's critical when preparing for the sacraments. Psalm 32. Psalm 32. Thank you. Huge in the Balkans. Look at that. Huge in the Balkans. Christ is King indeed. You called her frumpy. Poor girl. Love you, B. Christ is King. I didn't mean anything by that, Mindy. Don't hold it against me. I just say stuff. I shouldn't have said frumpy. Shouldn't have called her a 5. Apparently she's innocent bystander. I feel terrible. Collateral damage. She took a stray. Called her a 5. Yeah, I feel terrible right now. Oh my gosh. I feel terrible. Hey, Baron, I really enjoyed listening to your pod. I especially appreciate your clean, family-friendly commentary. Christ is King indeed from Fort Worth, Texas. Wow. All the way from Tarrant County, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry if you already answered this. I'm very late. Do you still think Mikey walking away on the phone is suspicious? I have. You're fine. A little. Hey, B Dizzle. Always look forward to your podcast. You're in your element with your research and information delivery. Grateful to you. I'm grateful to you. Thank you. How would Trump benefit from the BR if he is out of office when it is finished? That's a good indication it's bigger than him. Mark worked for Yeager family as a nanny. What? Yeager family, Los Angeles. How do you know that? Now I got to connect him to Mark Burnett. Mark Burnett, Yeager family. There it is. Live-in nanny with the Yeager family. Thank you. So much information out there. Can't find it all. New member and the first super chat. Retired nurse married to a retired Marine. Thank you for all you do. Love your attention to spelling grammar. I didn't even comment on the lack of a space between your and attention. See how polite I am sometimes. Yeager family from Hollywood. First and unnamed family from Malibu. He completed his business degree during the 2 years while nanny. Yeah, this is weird. I got to look at this. Adelson got her start as a physician, specializing in drug addiction, and opened 2 methadone clinics. The first in Tel Aviv in 1993. Yeah, but once you're a multi-billionaire, why are you still doing it? Late to the party, so maybe you answered. Do we think it's possible Mitch Snow saw Andrew and not Cobbett? Not identical, but both give off mediocrely handsome fintech bro vibe. Keep going, Mac. I hope Andrew's not watching. You talk about taking strays. Can you imagine you're watching a podcast? They've already basically dissected your life and said, at a bare minimum, you're shady. And then you watch in the comments, you're like, oh man, they finally gotten off me. And someone's like, nope, just mediocrely handsome. Fintech bro. Poor guy. That's going to hurt him worse than the Mark Burnett stuff. Thanks to everyone for everything you're doing to get to the truth. Your best AK supporter. May God bless you all. Christ is King and Digo. Max PS, I can't name Candace, Travis, Coach Colin, Ian Carroll, and so on in this comment. Yeah, they may have tightened up all the names. I don't know what YouTube does. They're crazy. That's nuts if that's true. But thank you, number 1 Alaska supporter. Monica misconception. Felt like a Joe moment. Monica misconception. I don't know what that means. Never claimed that you claimed DK was guilty in prior episodes. Just said I was surprised to hear you positively. No, I didn't. I did not. But you're missing my point, Monica. I did not say I did not think she was involved. I said very clearly, I don't think she killed him. And I don't. Those are 2 different things. That would be like saying, I don't think she made dinner. But that doesn't mean I don't think she was involved in making dinner, meaning she went to the grocery store. She bought the roast beef. She cut up the broccoli. But then she put it in the fridge, and the next day someone comes out and they pull the roast beef out, they pull the broccoli out, they make dinner, and they put it away. And then we all eat it. If I say, I don't think she made dinner, that means I don't think she was the one cooking the dinner. That doesn't mean I don't think she went to the store and bought the roast beef. See the difference? I don't think she killed her husband. I believe that. I made no comment whatsoever on whether I thought she was involved. That's a difference. It's a clear distinction. Speaking of HK, why did he say great after Charlie answered? That's a great question. And I don't know the answer to that. Sensational show today. Oh, great. Now I'm a country music sensation. Oh, no. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for your on-point opinion. Born in Syria, now in country with a blue flag. I've known this for a long time. Thank you for bringing light to this. Well, thank you. I wish you'd have told me to solve this a long time ago. I'm kidding. All things in due time. Thank you. Baron, does Andrew and Erica's time out coincide? What do you mean time out? Christ is king indeed. What does time out mean? I don't know what that means. 2 years ago today, my son-in-law had a myocardial infarction. Is that an MI? 6 times S-Mez defib. God said no. My grandson is 8. I told CK much about God, life, and justice. Pray for Michael. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. I pray for Michael. Pull the Boteach thread when you get a chance. I implore you. Oh, I'm being implored. How am I going to? I can't ignore imploring. Fetty slop. And yes, you're correct about the daughter thing. Oh, good. Called a Manny. Oh no, it's called a Billy. Nanny housekeeping intel gathering from inside. I'm curious. I'm gonna look into these Jagger, whatever they're called. I think it's Sarah Ferguson. Yep, got it. Are you willing to become an affiliate vendor for Adidas? Since you promote their hoodie, I reviewed their program on their website. No. I just like their hoodie. Great hoodie. I don't want to mess with advertising. I mean, if they pay me like $1 million, I will. Nothing short of $1 million, Adidas. And a hoodie. I need a royal purple hoodie. And $1 million. Could Mark Burnett exploited an au pair program for a J1 visa? That was my first thought with the extreme career change. So grateful for all you do. J1 visa. Exchange visitor? Maybe. I don't know. Never heard of that. I'd like to see members with Valhalla. I would too. I might invite him. I like Nate. He's a great guy. First chat. Sorry, bro. Till payday. Don't worry about it. Glad to see you. I'm LOL. Maybe all of us moms should go buy her mom corn to make up for her scratching a stray. Or her mom corn. I thought you meant to buy her mom some corn. I'm like, nah, let's not do that. I don't recommend reading mom corn. I think it sets up unreal expectations, but you do what you do. I'm not going to tell you what to read. But yeah, she caught a stray 5 and I feel bad about it. Sorry I'm late. Wanted you to know how I started to attend mass. I will begin confirmation process in August. Christ is king indeed. Thank you for all you do. Go Max. Thank you for that update. I really appreciate that. That means more to me than you ever know. But Baron, thought you might mention Danks, Bays, and Allie's collab from last night. Might you in the future? Daisy seemed pretty excited too. Love y'all. Christ is king. Why would I mean, I like them. I think they're good podcasters. But I mean, I watch a lot of good podcasts that I don't mention. And I just say I don't understand why you would thought I would have mentioned it. I did watch parts of it. But yeah. My Baronism hoodie arrived. I was the one who commented on it in your Insta post. Thank you for liking and making it happen. And thank you, Baron. Shout out to new homie Embers, if that is your real name. I don't know if that's his real name. But good. Thank you. Thank you. Drug clinics are often linked to halfway houses and or inpatient rehab clinic. Prime population to bribe or control. That's more the direction I was leaning. Sorry, 2 different ideas. Baited Charlie, not McCoy. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I need a chart. You see a chart show the connection chain from AK to ME. LOL. I lost track. Great show as always. Rewind. Watch it again. Escucha. guitar money. Who's got guitar money? I need something. No, I was kidding. Love from Florida. Ian and Candace led me to your show very early on. When I tell you I gasped out loud when she mentioned Mikey McCoy. He's the only one not seeming to be chasing CK Spotlight. He seems very sincere, praying for Mikey McCoy. We all should be praying for Mikey McCoy. Gary to Andrew, notice me, senpai. First super chat. We need Don't Tell Me How to Live My Life Fat Boy merch. Oh, yeah, we do, don't we? We do, don't we? Yeah, we do. Love you, man. Keep up the search for truth. I'm doing my best out here. MB may have been private security for child of VIP who didn't want to disclose for some reason. Discover titles on tax filings or LinkedIn. Yeah, maybe. I hadn't thought of that. Hey, Baron, did you look closely at these seats yet? I don't know what that means. Mikey, protecting involved wife, baby mama, and or dad. Baby mama or dad? No, I doubt it's dad. Could be wife and baby mama. Or Candace said it was supposed to be you via a K. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, yeah. I am 524 behind. Taco Bell. I had it yesterday. Let's just say I had to throw a few things away. Then you have a bowel issue. Taco Bell shouldn't have that effect on people. You need to go to the doctor. You might need the same test that other guy was getting a few minutes ago. Christ is king indeed, but let's check out the shoot. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. Taco Bell should not do that to people. Would you be willing to use the original BC podcast mug? I recreated it, but can't recall the size. I don't want to miss an episode just in case. Original BC podcast. This one? This podcast mug? I don't know what you're talking about. In 1969, my brother was murdered at 12 years old. I was still 10. Still no legal justice. They know the murderer and have witnesses. God gave me motivation, so I fought for others. I told CK, God's ways are not the ways. Christ, not our ways. Christ is king indeed. Well, that is so tragic, Elizabeth. Why have there not been justice if everything's known? I'm so confused. I'm very sorry. 1969. Family, Mark B, nanny for LA in 1982 was Erwin Yeager. Mary Patricia Height. June 1977. 3 kids, Michael, Wendy, Jeffrey. I was able to find this out because MB gave the address where he worked in an interview 14 years ago. Wow. All very good information. Thank you. The drugs used to get off drugs are more addictive, and it is on the money train. I don't think it's money. Dr. Shiva has been talking forever about Romney's Bain Capital, owning all the methadone clinics in Boston. I used to work in the opioid addiction world. It's as dirty as it gets. Golly, you guys are scaring me. Andrew, Erica, I hope you have a great week. Can't wait for the rest of Baron's research, and Candace's research is coming. Christ is King, Andrew, and Erica, you will all face Judgment Day. Well, we'll all face Judgment Day, not just them. Please pray for my auntie who is in the hospital. Christ is King indeed, certainly. They have ticks now that cause meat allergies. I know, we were talking about that today at a party this afternoon. It's terrifying. Pfizer magically has a jab, and Gates has the fake meat. Protect yourself with a mixture of essential oils such as peppermint, citronella, lemon, etc. There was one other that I heard people mention, but apparently it's very toxic. Marcia, thank you. After summer, you should drop some high IQ canine dog hoodies in multiple colors till he could start modeling to further her celebrity status. Can you imagine the big head on that dog if I let her model? Oh, she'd be insufferable. Be insufferable. Baron, please read PS 83 on your time and rethink. What am I rethinking? I know what Psalm 83 is. It's where they divided the kingdoms up among the different hosts. That's Psalm 83, right? Act like I don't know my Bible just because I'm Catholic. I just don't have time to read it right now. We're way behind. Thank you for all you do. Isn't discovery a two-way street? Can't they get all the info Candace has been holding back? Well, it's got to be relevant. What would anything Candace has help with trying to figure out if she's telling the truth about Brian Harpole? Or if she's made any comments on Brian Harpole? I don't agree with that. I mean, yes, it's technically a two-way street, but it's not unlimited. It has to be relevant. How can EK claims Candace accused her of murder if Candace shared her suspicion with her? How diabolical. Yeah. Please don't stop praying for Andrew. Jesus died for him as well. He deserves the same grace we all get. Christ is king indeed. I agree with you. Good call. Baron, please, when you get a chance, check out my email from yesterday. I probably am not going. I'll be honest, guys. When you tell me to check out your emails, very rarely do I do that. I just don't have time to read emails. I've had to stop that part of my life. I will very selectively sometimes, if I ask someone to email me, go look for it. So I'm not knocking you, and I'm not telling you that you wasted your money or anything, but I'm just saying, if you pay me money to tell you check your email, I'm probably not gonna check it. Trump assassination attempt, Ryan Wesley Routh waves able to take visa. You see, I'm not gonna look at it. No offense, but I has nothing to do with what I'm doing now. I have so much research I'm doing. That's someone else is gonna have to look into that. That's no relevance whatsoever to what I'm working on. So I'm not being mean. I'm not trying to be snappy. I'm just being honest. I want to just be honest with people. I do not have time to sit around and read thousands of emails. And that's what it comes down to. If I read one, I'm reading thousands. If all the emails were just tips, I would have plenty of time to read emails because I only get like 1 or 2 decent tips every month. But what I end up with is literally thousands of emails of people telling me to watch other people's podcasts or like, if that's interesting to you and it's something that's killer and it's going to change the nature of investigating, do a quick podcast on it, put it on Twitter, draw people's attention to it. If it's good, it's going to take off. That's my best advice for people telling me to research stuff. Your narrative is mesmerizing, or just tell me in a message. Just say, here's how he was able to do it. Here's how he was able. Ryan Wesley Routh was able to obtain visa to travel to Ukraine by, and just tell me it cannot possibly be more than 200 characters. And then you've saved $10, and I don't have to go read an email. And I've heard the information. Your narrative is mesmerizing, insightful, and captivating. This is beyond high IQ. Cristo es Rey. Thank you. I appreciate it. Genuinely, thank you. What do you make of MM texting, eye contact, etc. the day of? I wonder if he was being if he too was being threatened. His dad creeps me out. Well, his dad creeps all of us out. We're all freaked out by Rob McCoy. There's no doubt about that. Could not be more creeped out by Rob McCoy. Baptist here, need prayer for God to show me what to do. Home church no longer feels like home. Can't imagine leaving since been there 35 years, married and raised all kids there. Is it me? Need guidance. Look, maybe go talk to your pastor and share your concerns and say, these are the things that are bothering me. I've been here 35 years. I've invested my whole life here. I don't want to go anywhere else. And I don't blame you. Why would you? Maybe talk to the pastor. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Baptist corporate structure, their deacons or their elders or their, obviously not priests, but is there some hierarchical organization? I'm not sure. But maybe go to someone else, some of the lay leaders in the church, and just say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. What do you suggest? I think anyone asking questions with a sincere heart, these are my concerns. How should I deal with these? Is going to get sincere answers. And then you'll have to make a decision. Is there a better Baptist church down the road? Do you need to branch out and think about it? I mean, but I would start there. Talk to people. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. I know how hard that has to be. Tagged you on X. Guardian article regarding Mark Burnett, the commando nanny. I sent you a Bird Box 2, not bugged. Oh. Well, as far as the X tag, I'll never see that. I mean, not that I don't want to see that. I'm on X a lot, way more than I'm on email. But I don't see the people tagging me stuff. It's just a lot of activity. My notification, as soon as I click notifications, it'll say 20 plus. I'll click it and then I'll like look away for seconds, immediately 20 plus again. So I don't see all the tags. But that's interesting, Commando Nanny. So I'll check that out. Bird Box not bugged. Everyone's telling me they're all bugged. Maybe Charlie's dead was a message to Trump. Can be. Yeah, could be. Baron, your prayer reminded me of one we need. We are moving the in-laws in. Life-changing. You and family are in my prayers for any and everything always. Kristen, that's life-changing. It could be a tremendous blessing having multiple generations in the same home. So don't count it out. Don't. But yeah, definitely a change. No doubt about it. Pray for you. Check out Mark Burnett's and Roma Downey's alleged Christian cult. Yep, checking that out. Mark Burnett, Roma Downey, Christian cult. That's on the list of things to look Difference between a millionth and a billion is a million seconds, 11 days, a billion seconds, 31 years, a trillion seconds, 31,000 years. I believe that. No, I don't know why you're telling me that, but I appreciate it. I must have said something. Wouldn't it make sense that Mark B is CIA and TV to get specific programming through the masses? Thanks for all you do, Baron. Just ordered my merch. Hope I run into you wearing RBP hoodie. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, that was kind of my suspicion, was he was intel working in Hollywood to program the masses. That's why I talked about the nature of the Survivor show. Anyone else got the color purple attorney voice on speed dial in their head? Full on objection. Relevance. When responding to my kid's frivolous questionnaire. Yeah, I haven't seen the color purple since like 1990, whatever year it came out. Sorry, I'm late again, my B. Late, my B. Wanted to say I'm thankful you had that allegedly sign above your head when you referred to Jimmy Kimmel as a comedian. God bless you and your family. He's a comedian. Not a very good one, but he's a comedian. Sped up show during Super Chats to catch up. I accidentally put on 1.5, hearing your voice imitating Burnett. A nanny job. Listen, 1.5 if you need LOL. Great show. Thank you. I'm behind watching this podcast. The Sarah and the... Yep, got you. You are way behind. Guys, they don't need to put a listening device in Baron's Bird Box. They're all listening to us right now through our devices. And I carry this around. They can hear me all day through that. Thanks for proofreading my first Super Chat. Golden, this is my second Super Chat. LOL. Ronnie, I do my best to clean up the grammar when I notice it, when I see it. You're welcome. Erica Franzve. Yep. Right before she... Yep, that's correct. Candace, like, I don't believe EK killed her husband. I just think she might have arranged the murder. That's a difference. Those are two totally different things. JC Penney has a royal purple Adidas hoodie. There's some funding. Christ is king. Thank you for all you do. I'm going to look into that immediately. Thank you. JC Penney. Hey, no, JC Penney was still in business. Thankful and blessed to have you represent Catholics. I converted 39 years ago, marrying a Catholic man, one of 14 kids. I have a Monsignor and priest that are brother-in-law, 2 nephews that are priests, and 3 in seminary. So blessed. Wow. You guys are carrying the whole diocese on your back. The glass mug on a stem. Yes. Yeah, why are we talking about that? It's not in here. I need to pull those back out. They got put in the back of the cabinet, and I don't pull them out very often. I do put my kombucha in there. Kind of fancy. Baron, you were going to look at the Yukon seats. Necklace charms. You didn't want to search for my emails. Oh, yeah, that's right. Were you the one that sent the with the circle in the floorboard? Someone sent that. I'll look at it. I think AK told Miriam what Trump said, and once CK started questioning 10-7 in the war, he was the push DJT needed to see to get things their way. Wow. Start. You skipped my super chat. I didn't mean to. If I did, I didn't mean to. I apologize. I genuinely am not trying to skip any. I'm going fast, but I'm not trying to skip any. Side note, Roman Mark have Utah connects. Have a home in Park City since touched. I think he was raised. Was he not raised? Or no, that was someone else. Sorry. I did not know that. I was trying to find the exact quote, but can't find it before show is over. But Rogan made a reference that made me know he's been listening to your show. Christ is king. Wow. I did not know that. Welcome, Podfather. Sarah Ferguson appeared on Celebrity Apprentice. Yes, that's correct. Grandbaby has arrived. Congratulations. Daughter and baby are doing well. I will definitely have to rewatch this episode, as only listening as I tend to them. Christ is king indeed. Well, you're welcome to rewatch it, but focus on that grandbaby. What are your thoughts on remote viewing? Elizabeth April did 2 videos on CKEK. It was insanely fascinating and sensible. You should check it out. Nope. Not watching that. I can assure you. Andrew promotes in his resume, face of the brand for the Go West Creative Group. Hard mid-tech bro. That's a small tech bro. Involved, as in they would work closely together. Involved, possibly in plan. Wouldn't she have told AK what CO said? I would think so. MA Family Home. Mary Medicine. Yes. That's the original BC mug I was referring to. Oh, good. It's still on the website. You can still order it. Barrett, I think, yep, got it. Man, you guys are quick on the Miriam, the Duchess thing. You're quick draw on the Dutch. A-Train, great show so far. Baron, received my certified grumbler shirt. Fast shipping, thanks. You're welcome. Oh, goodness. Here we go. Rachel Esta. Wonder if Mikey McCoy thought he should take the lead after CK passed and is upset because they failed to turn over the mic to him. I think they're all involved, but McCoy pushed the attention to AK. I don't see it that way, but I think it's a fair read. I mean, I don't think you're unreasonable for that. Like, to your thoughts on the future of Bitcoin, considering that Michael Saylor's company Strategy has acquired $61 billion worth of Bitcoin. Remember you mentioning it months ago? Yeah. I'll get back to that. Brandon, I'm so freaking mad. I prayed for Andrew. We all prayed for him, and he hoodwinked us all. Andrew can go to hell. They all can. Well, figuratively. We want him in heaven. We want everyone there. And YouTube can too. Had to send this from Grumble because censored by YouTube. Well, you telling people to go to hell. I don't give a damn. These eggs are out of this world, like extraterrestrial. Dom, I watched your show today. A big chunk of it. Amazing show. Almost needed the whiteboard. Definitely a repeat show. Well, you're welcome to come get some more whenever you're ready. Would pay the serious money to see Trump's face when he finds out AK allegedly ratted him out to Miriam, who's the low IQ now pumpkin snickerdoodle. Love you, Baron. Well, it was either him or Charlie because no one else was in the room. Pumpkin now snickerdoodle. Please don't forget your grumblers. But I didn't. I just read them all. Thank you, Moon Goddess. Thank you. Guys, we're almost 4 hours in. It's Sunday night. Thank you for joining me. This has been absolutely amazing. I love being here with you guys. I genuinely do. So thank you. Genuinely, thank you. If you need to catch a replay ever, Spotify is a great option. They've been very good partners with us. We were up to number 36 this week with Spotify. So obviously they're pushing the show out very well. So thank you to Spotify. Thank you to the people who listen over there. So if you ever miss a show, happy to catch it there. You can always check the replays on Rumble or YouTube as well. But thank you. Thank you for joining live, those of you who are here with me now. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, hit notifications, share with your friends and family. Word of mouth is huge. Word of mouth is huge. It's one of the great ways that podcasts spread like wildfire is when you share the good word with your friends and family. In the meantime, I don't just say this on Sundays for you newbies. I say this every day. Always remember, Jesus loves you. I will catch you guys tomorrow night. Mañana noches. All right, guys. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.